This is a Fox News alert. Sean Diddy Combs awaits his fate on Lisa Brady. No word yet on whether he'll have to stay in custody after a split verdict at his federal trial in New York. The rapper and businessman found not guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering, which could have sent him to prison for life. But the jury convicts him of 2 prostitution-related counts. Prosecutors are now arguing he could continue to commit crimes if released. The defense hoping he can head home for now.
The defense has made the case at this point that they feel their client's travel should be restricted. They're fine with the government having possession of their client's passport. And once again, they pointed out that the crimes Diddy was found guilty of are vastly different than the charges he was acquitted of.
Fox's CB Cotton. Combs could still face years in prison. In Idaho, Brian Koberger is set to change his plea to guilty to avoid the death penalty for killing 4 University of Idaho students. 2 victims' families have been critical of the agreement. The father of one telling reporters prosecutors have made a deal with the devil.
Steve Gonsalves escorted members of his family up to the courthouse door, and then he himself turned around, walked back here past our cameras. He is refusing to even go inside the courthouse as a form of protest against this deal.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Boise, but 2 other victims' families are supporting the plea deal, a new trade deal between the U.S. and Vietnam.
President Trump says Vietnam is giving the U.S. total access to their markets, allowing American goods to be sold in the country tariff-free. Goods imported from Vietnam into the U.S. will still be taxed at 20%. The president says.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House as trade talks with multiple countries continue. A pause on new reciprocal tariffs expires a week from today. America is listening to Fox News.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Sunshine in control on this Wednesday afternoon. It's still relatively comfortable to be out and about. 89 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, beautiful evening. Sun going down around 8:30 or so. 69 for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny, a slow build-up in the humidity during the afternoon, 93. Friday, the 4th of July, sunny, hot, and humid, 95 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and stay cool this summer. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Keep in mind, we've had 4 years of disaster under Joe Biden. Donald Trump has only had a little less than 6 months to try and fix this thing, and already you've seen enormous changes. In the CBO, by the way, 1.8% growth is what they projected over the next 10 years. This country has never had less than 2% growth in any 10-year period. So be careful of the numbers that these insiders put out, because bottom line is we've seen it all throughout history. When you give Americans more of their hard-earned money, when you give them more freedom to make new things happen, they not only improve their own lives, but the rising tide lifts all boats. And that's what this country's all about. And that's what's going to happen with this legislation.
Majority Whip Tom Emmer, Republican, talking about the big, beautiful bill. Here's my problem with what Tom Emmer said. I never have been given money by the United States government. You take it. And then if I get it back, that is at best a reimbursement, probably not interest paid. But I don't like the language. And if that were a Democrat, I would be going ham on that. Oh, you're going to give me some of my own money. Well, thank you, sir. That would be my attitude, and I would be remiss if I didn't do that to the Republican side as well. The big, beautiful bill is in the hands of the House of Representatives. Darin LaHood, pending not having to vote or something, at 1:30 will be with us on the show, one of 3 Republican representatives from the state of Illinois. Also, you can check out the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Had an in-office conversation with him when I was on Capitol Hill. He was very gracious to invite me up to his office to talk about everything that was going on. And I was asking him then about the big, beautiful bill. And he's like, I think we can get it done. So it'll be great to talk to him once again. He represents Illinois 16th District. I think it's like the Peoria area. The YouTube poll, gosh dang it, another freaking poll about the big, beautiful bill, which is why one of them was, will you be happy when it's signed? And somebody said, I'll be happy to stop talking about it. And here we are, still talking about it. The House has a really big choice ahead of them. They have a Senate bill that was made less conservative. A fight that took place in the House made the bill as conservative as they felt that they could get it, as far as spending cuts, as far as committing to the idea of shrinking government, spending less and less, cutting. And we've been on quite a journey as this has been discussed, because I went to D.C. at the end of April. Was it May? One or the other. And that's when this conversation had really, really started to be like the next priority up. I think that they had just passed the extension of the current spending or something. They're like, we're going to kick this to the summer, but we're going to get right to it. What is that called? Continuing resolution.
CR.
Yeah, a continuing resolution on what was currently in place. And I talked to Congressman Bost in his office. He said, we're going to get it done. It's going to be real ugly. That was his comment. And guess what it is? It is really ugly to watch this unfold. I'm going to say, just from my perspective on this bill, if this bill passes in its current form, I do think it's a step in the right direction for the country. I do think it will be a great accomplishment for President Trump to have navigated the slimmest of margins in the House, gotten into the Senate, and to be able to get this done shows that the president can lead. I will also say, if the House does pass the Senate's bill, the order is taller now for what happens next. Rescissions packages, that's what happens next. So when you go through a reconciliation process in the Senate, you only have to get a majority of 1 vote in order for that to pass. Everything else is a stronger majority. I think it's 60 votes. Some things are 2/3. You're not going to get anything to go through the Senate that is of this type of politically divisive nature. You're not going to get Democrats to vote for this. And if you do, if you peel off 1 Fetterman, you're losing Rand Paul, or, if I don't even know if there's another Democrat that would vote for this stuff in the Senate. I can't think of a single name.
Mike Crapo?
Crapo?
I just wanted to say his name, and I think you're aware of
If
that.
we think that we can get his vote, maybe you shouldn't talk about him like that.
I don't even know if he's a Democrat.
Thank you for the contribution to the show. That's Brian Wiggins, everybody. I'm reminded to introduce people, and I will be sure to introduce you every time you say something like that.
Appreciate that.
Yes. You're just not going to get anything done. So we can stand on principle and get nothing done and wait for the Democrats to take power once again, and they will get done pretty fast, and we will watch them like, why don't we do that when we have... Okay, so we're here. We have the House. We have the Senate. We have the pen in the Oval Office. I do think it's time to get something done. And if it's an ugly bill, it's too ugly to pass, you're going to have more than 2 or 3 people to sink it. It's going to have to be in the tens of people who say, we can't do this. Send it back to this. We're going to revise it, send it back to the Senate, start from scratch. The important thing to remember is that the president set out a deadline of July 4th that was his self-imposed deadline. It's something he wanted to do. Which, if you don't set a deadline, how many times have we talked about, we always keep waiting and be like, oh, people aren't going to go home for Christmas. They're going to have, and they should be in Washington, D.C. working over Christmas for the people, blah, blah, blah. Let's not do that. Let's get the job done. First and foremost, they need to protect us, and our safety and security needs to be the top priority. But if there's one other responsibility of Congress, it's the power of the purse, specifically in the House, and it's their responsibility to make sure that spending and taking is measured in a way that reflects the freedoms of the American people enshrined in the Constitution given to us by God. That's their job. And this is not simply put, this is not going to be a cold turkey thing. We're not going to be able to go from decades of Republicans doing big government better than Democrats do big government to let's be fiscal hawks in every way, shape, or form. We are making huge progress, and if this bill is the best that they can do, and I'm just going to say it, if Donald Trump feels like this bill is the best that they can do, that's good enough for me. I cannot sit here. I can read and I can read and I can read and I can look to people who I trust in the House, people who I've met, people who I've talked to, people who I know are good people, who are true, honest, conservative people, and I can see what they say about it. But at the end of the day, they're one of 435 people in the House. If you're in the Senate, you're one of 100, and you've got a specific constituency to represent. And if I'm looking at a New York Republican saying salt, 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 and they're representing the people of New York that sent them there, I can't look at them and be like, your conservative bona fides suck and you shouldn't be in the party, because they're representing their constituency. They're doing what the people who sent them there asked them to do or what they promised them that they would do. That's just not how it works in the House, and it's not supposed to. The House of Representatives is codified in the legislative branch to be the closest representation to the American people in a federal government setting that it can possibly be. And it is the right of Thomas Massie in Kentucky when they keep sending him back and we're going, gosh dang it, you're just like a petulant no vote on everything, and you're the proverbial get off my lawn guy in the House of Representatives because there's no government spending that you like. And there are people listening to the show who are like, that's right, he's my guy. Okay, I get that. I respect it. And if Kentucky respects it and continues to send him back there, you don't get to take his conservative card away, because we are not the purveyors of who gets to and who doesn't get to have it. You get say in one person who's in the House of Representatives. If you're around here, you're talking to Mike Bost, you're talking to Nikki Budzinski, you're talking to Ann Wagner, you're talking to Jason Smith, you're talking to all of these representatives, you're talking to Wesley Bell, you're talking to the individuals who represent here, and you have to communicate with them what you want. It is their job to reflect what their constituencies want, why they have sent them there, and it is the constituency's job to say, you did a bad job, we're going to go find someone else. Or keep on keeping on, we know you're fighting uphill, but we appreciate that you're fighting for us. Thomas Massie's, Rand Paul's, or maybe some of those Elise Stefanik's of New York who are advocating for something that some of us other conservatives are going, this doesn't really feel fiscally conservative to me. It's a mess in the House, but it's designed that way. Why? Because they can't just start whipping out laws that you and I have to live under easily. It's complicated on purpose. So you need to have vision. You need to have leadership. You need to have resolve. You also need to understand that this big, beautiful bill, which we could also call this big bill, is something that is being shepherded through by somebody who the entire country voted for, and that's Donald Trump. And in a lot of ways, I am opposed to saying if Trump says it's okay, I'm just going to go with it. But on this one, at this point in time, I don't think that we realistically have another choice. If he can get with the House, if they can modify the bill in a way that the Senate comes to agreement on so that they can get the job done and get it done quickly, doesn't have to be by July 4th. It's not a law. It's not a regulation. They just have to get it done by the end of 2025 in order for those Trump tax cuts to not be removed or sunsetted, where the tax hike on you is going to be enormous. Remember, the tax cut that they're trying to preserve is Donald Trump's tax cut. The Democrats, when they had the full control of all the branches, they could have made this permanent just as easily as the Republicans could have. And by easily, I mean not easy at all. You don't have to be in love with the bill. You don't have to be in love with every detail. You should shake fists at the sky about the things that you don't like. But you also have to be realistically keyed in on, if not this, then what? And if then what is nothing, that too is not a solution. The YouTube live chat poll for today: should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill, yes or no? Let us know what you think. I think when we asked earlier this week, will you be happy when the bill is signed? I think 91% of near 300 people said yes.
Yeah, it was overwhelming.
Yeah, over 90% of the people said yes. I don't know that today is going to be that strong of a yes. I still think it's going to be a resolute yes, but I don't think it's going to be in the 90%.
Do you think that's because people just want to get it over with? So I think there is a sentiment for that.
Certainly. I think the majority of people, because they're not digging into the details. They don't want to, and they know in large part, I could dig into the details. It's just like hitting myself in the head with a 2x4. Or in the state of Illinois now, it's got to be a 2x6. But if you're pushing and pushing and pushing for spending reduction, and you're looking at this going, this is not it. This is not enough. Might be a no. Let's take a quick break. We got to speak to the Attorney General of the state of Missouri once again. Andrew Bailey joins us, and we're going to get an update on the situation with the St. Louis County Sheriff. He was in studio last week saying, hey, you're going to need to resign by noon the next day. Well, he didn't resign. What's next? Andrew Bailey is next on The Annie Fry Show.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I want to brag about Home Shield Foundation Repair because when I was meeting today with Matt and his lovely wife, this morning we were talking, and I have so much in common with this family-owned and operated business, Home Shield Foundation Repair. So yes, I'm here to talk to you about leveling out the concrete that's all busted up or jacked up in a certain place at your house. It's an eyesore and it's a trip hazard. You don't need a broken hip because your concrete is messed up. You don't have time for that. Nobody has time for that. Except for Home Shield Foundation Repair, they have time for that, and they are waiting for you to give them a call to fix your driveways, your sidewalks, your walkways. I'm even talking about garage floors. I've heard stories about garage floors caving in because they weren't installed correctly the first time. Pool decks and patios, even commercial and industrial concrete. If you need it leveled out and you need it fixed, go the cost-effective way with Home Shield Foundation Repair. I assure you, you are working with the very, very best top people, and it is my greatest pleasure when I get to talk into this microphone to connect you good people with these good people. Home Shield Foundation Repair, 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. 9636. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands. Because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song. Hey Cardinal fans, hydrate like a champ. Head to the ballpark Saturday, July 12th as the Cardinals take on the Braves. That day, 20,000 fans 16 and older score a City Connect tumbler courtesy of Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. Stay cool and sip in style all summer long with this 30-ounce stainless steel tumbler. Don't miss out on this fan-favorite giveaway. Grab your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
I got my first real six-string.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
69. Me and some guys from school had a band and we tried real hard. Jimmy quit and Jody got married.
St. Louis sheriff refuses to step down, leading to a standoff with Missouri's Attorney General.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery says he's not leaving office, so Attorney General Andrew Bailey is taking action.
He's taking action, and he's joining us on the Annie Fry Show right now. The Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, back with us. Andrew, welcome back to the show. Good for being here today.
Turn me on, Annie. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. So you were in here last week, and you gave the ultimatum. You said, this guy's corrupt. It's very obvious. A lot of allegations against the sheriff. It's not good for the county. He needs to go by noon tomorrow. And he said, no thanks, I'll pass. What happens next?
Well, we filed a lawsuit 1 minute later after that deadline had expired, and we raised 6 different claims, the most damning of which is that he has hired his brother. That's a clear violation of the constitutional prohibition, nepotism. And by operation of constitutional law, he has forfeited his office. Now, he has kind of casually denied that allegation, but we've got birth certificates and witness statements, and this is getting worse for Sheriff Montgomery by the minute. Their allegations include his false arrests and physical restraint and disarmament of citizens and public officials who are in the discharge of their official duties in excess of his statutory authority, financial mismanagement, and the use of taxpayer resources to run his own private daycare facility for his kids. This is an abuse of authority of monumental proportion.
Yeah, it absolutely sounds like that. We're speaking with Attorney General Andrew Bailey. So those are all the things that you have alleged in your suit against him, detailed things, not just, high-level accusations. You have a lot of substance behind that. Can you tell me, while Sheriff Montgomery was focusing on helping himself out in these regards, what was happening to the people of St. Louis County? How was he abdicating his duty?
Well, the city of St. Louis sheriff is different than every other sheriff in the state of Missouri. So we have 114 counties, plus the city has its own county operations. But the city sheriff is explicitly, by statute, prohibited from enforcing the general criminal laws of the state of Missouri. It's there in the statutes that create his office and define his duties. Well, so when in January and February of this year, he marches into the city jail and handcuffs administrator, that's a felonious restraint. That's kidnapping by felonious restraint. And by the way, it's making St. Louis less safe because the jail supervisor isn't at the helm if he's arresting her. Then he goes onto the streets a month later and arrests a security guard who's licensed to perform secondary duty as an armed security guard by the city police department, and he disarms that citizen who was licensed to be doing that job in violation of the city ordinances and the individual's constitutional rights. That's making the city less safe. He's wasting tax resources, and he's violating the constitutional prohibition on nepotism. It's time for him to go. And I'll tell you, we opened up a tip line, and within the first 48 hours received numerous indications that there are additional behaviors on behalf of Sheriff that warrant his removal from office, and we're continuing to investigate those leads.
So Andrew Bailey is speaking with us right now, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri. You went after Kim Gardner with this same sort of effort to remove her from office. She ended up removing herself, I suppose. What's the timeline on something like this? Do you expect the sheriff to come out guns a-blazing trying to fight you back on this, or does this just trail off into, okay, fine, I'll quit?
Well, I think it's going to happen exactly like it did with Kim Gardner. If you remember, she was thundering from the pulpit saying she would have to be dragged out of her office. And then a few weeks later, after we got into discovery and she realized she was going to have to answer some really tough questions that would expose her to civil and potentially criminal liability, she hit the eject button. The same thing's going to happen here. Montgomery needs to read the writing on the wall, understand that the facts and evidence outlined in more than 89 pages, more than 146 individually numbered paragraphs in my petition are going to grow. They're not going to shrink, so this is going to get worse. And the sooner he hits the eject button and saves the tax St. Louis the headache of having to go through a judicial process, the better off the city will be. We are prepared to go to court. A judge has been assigned to our case, and we will push this forward to its natural conclusion, which is his removal from office.
Well, I'll tell you what, just let the record show from past experiences of covering stories like this about you, Attorney General. I believe you. You will see it through, which is why we will continue to watch what you do on this case. I want to transition here a little bit. Your name here, looking at July 2nd, in the New York Times, Attorney General Andrew Bailey. They're talking about something known as the Grain Belt Express, an $11 billion line that would carry electricity produced by wind farms in Kansas, across Missouri and Illinois, all the way to Indiana. And it looks like you flagged this. What can you tell us about this effort for clean energy that you're now involved in?
Well, this was a ripoff from the word go. It was sold as a Green New Deal energy scam to promote renewable resources, but it was going to deliver power, except Missouri, to the coastal elites in California and New York, but not to the state of Missouri. But they're going to take our farmland and hurt our family farmers, some of which have been in the family for centuries, in order to build big transmission lines to run across that land to power other states. No way. That's not the Constitution limits eminent domain to seizure for public use, not for corporate scams. And moreover, they lied to the Public Service Commission saying that, hey, we're going to create all these jobs. Where are the jobs? They haven't been created. They said, hey, well, there's going to be this carbon tax that's going to help fund this. It doesn't exist. It's been rejected by President Trump. They said that, hey, we're eventually going to get to have all this power to push power plants. They don't exist. They couldn't push the electrons through the lines if they wanted to. So this is nothing short of a government-sanctioned ripoff and a land grab by wealthy corporatists that don't reside here in the state of Missouri. And look, it's no surprise, right? The CEO of the company grew up in the Soviet Union. Oh. He thinks it's perfectly legitimate to take people's land, benefit himself. He has no concept of individual rights.
God bless you, Andrew Bailey. It's so good to have you here uncovering what a lot of us aren't going to be able to dig deep into these things or know the legality of it. How much of what the Biden administration drove throughout their administration, it was the supreme cause was always the green cause. And when you dig into it, you realize this looks like a money-making operation for a lot of the people who are involved in the middle of point A to point B, C, D, whatever it might be. And the American people who are funding it don't seem to get a lot out of it. Is there a lot more, suspected fraud regarding green that we're trying to uncover now from the last 4 years?
Oh, it's absolutely true. Look at how many federal grants were issued, millions of dollars, billions of dollars flushed down the toilet. Thank goodness DOGE exposed so much of that under President Trump's leadership. But the federal government has also guaranteed loans, and certainly the Department of Energy, the Grain Belt Expressway has asked DOE to give billions of dollars in loans to help them steal Missouri farmland and hurt Missouri farmers. But I'm not going to let them sacrifice Missouri agriculture on the altar of failed Green New Deal policies.
Well, one last question before we let you go. We're speaking with the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, on with us right now. One issue that continues to arise in discussion is the Chinese ownership of land across the country, but specifically here in Missouri. What's the future look like for those parcels of land that have been picked up by the Chinese, just in general?
Well, it should be illegal. It should absolutely be illegal. No enemy of the United States of America should be able to own land. Look what happened when Israel launched drone strikes with Iran against Iranian military facilities. If that can happen in the Middle East, it can happen here. And the statute used to prevent ownership of foreign land in the state of Missouri, and that statute was changed. We need to change it back. And at the end of the day, I'm going to use that judgment that we have against China for their unleashing the COVID pandemic on the world and to us about it, that $24 billion judgment to identify Chinese-owned assets in the state of Missouri or elsewhere, to seize them, to make good on the judgment, to make good on the money that is owed to the people of the state of Missouri.
You got a timeline on that? How quickly can you make that happen?
Yeah, we're working. I mean, we've translated the judgment into Mandarin Chinese, or having it served on the Chinese government through diplomatic channels, and then after we do that, we go back to court and we get third-party discovery. I get to start firing off subpoenas to identify Chinese-owned assets in Missouri.
What do you do in your spare time? You're so busy. I mean, would this, if you weren't doing this professionally, would this be like a hobby of yours, trying to look into these types of things? Because you seem to be your plate is full.
Well, look, it's a privilege to get to serve in this capacity, and I'll tell you, I'm invested. I mean, this is home. I care about these issues. These are important issues for the people of Missouri, even my friends in Illinois or elsewhere. What I say is that, hey, look, you may not be a constituent. I can still represent you and fight these good fights over our shared values.
Oh, Thank you. Personally, thank you. Andrew Bailey, come back anytime. We appreciate you coming on the show with us today.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy 4th of July. Talk soon.
Yes, happy 4th of July as well. God bless you. The Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey. I mean, he's really busy. I'm like, well, what about this? He's like, I got 6 lawsuits on that right now. It's in Mandarin Chinese. What else do you want to know? And I'm like, I got a lot of time to fill here. What else you got? He's on it.
He's moving too fast. We still have time in the segment.
I want to tell you
we got through it.
Eric Schmidt, Attorney General for the state of Missouri, big friend of the Annie Fry Show. Andrew Bailey, Attorney General for the state of Missouri, big friend of the Annie Fry Show. Will Scharf, almost close, Attorney General of the state of Missouri, big friend of the Annie Fry Show. What is it with AGs? Maybe we should try to be friends with the AG in Illinois.
I know what it is.
What?
We're all very rules-oriented people. We grew up good kids.
We kind of are.
We didn't really get in a lot of trouble, and so we're attracted to this kind of person.
How is my, as we talked about yesterday, like, what is our style? How is my cool Sunday school teacher look today?
It's probably a little extra cool. I'd say it's extra.
Extra cool.
Yeah.
Extra cool Sunday school teacher today. Check it out on the YouTube channel. I'm wearing a blazer. You know why?
That's why it's extra cool.
Because I went and hung out with Home Shield Foundation Repairs this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. They did not demand I wear a blazer.
It's not like a super nice restaurant when you walk in there?
First watch.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. To come in here, you're going to have to put a coat on.
Yeah, let me go get my fancy coat. All right, let's take a quick break. I almost said Wiggins America next, but that's not actually true. It's like at 15 minutes from now. What are we talking about in Wiggins America?
How to have a great, great summer. We just want you to have a fun time this summer.
We should get a marijuana shop to sponsor that segment.
No, thanks.
We'll be like, we don't know what to do with it, but we'll take your money. All right, let's go take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll, should the House pass the Senate's BBB bill? Big, beautiful bill. Big, bad bill. Big bill. Yes or no? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Make sure you stream us on the Odyssey app. If you're in and out of your car, the Odyssey app goes wherever you go on your phone. AUDACY, stream 97.1 FM Talk right there. We'll be back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, good people at good family-owned and operated businesses. That's really the backbone of the station. And you, working your tail off to earn your hard-earned dollar, you want to make sure when you invest it in something new and exciting like flooring, it's going to transform the look of your home. Maybe you're finishing or renovating your office, your business building, whatever. All of this, Michael's Flooring Outlet, they can help you through this process. They have a ton of options and finishes available for you, and they're going to care about the quality of the product, the quality of the service, and the quality of the price. They care about all of that for you. So when you go there and you're part of shopping within here, the 97.1 family, you're going to feel like you're at home. If you're looking for a specific kind of brand, you can go onto their website at igotfloor.com and peruse all of their products there. You'll see the Techwood Plus line that we talk about, the Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting. You can see the different colors. You can check out the different pads. You can even request a free estimate right there on the website and read reviews from people just like you who went with Michael's, completely satisfied, those Google reviews on their website. Go to igotfloor.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, should the House pass the Senate's version of the Big Beautiful Bill? That's a yes or no. Let us know. We're talking about the Big Beautiful Bill again today. So, it's because we can't get past it. Should the House pass the Senate's version of the BBB? It is 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Does his teeth bite to eat and he's rolling? He never changes a thing. The week
Chair, would the Fed have cut more by now if it weren't for the tariffs?
So I do think that's right. In effect, we went on hold when we saw the size of the tariffs and essentially all inflation forecasts for the United States went up materially as a consequence of the tariffs. So we didn't overreact. In fact, we didn't react at all. We're simply taking some time. As long as the U.S. economy is in solid shape, we think the prudent thing to do is to wait and learn more and see what those effects might be. And again, they haven't really shown up. So for now, we're waiting.
Okay, Jerome Powell, Donald Trump's favorite person. What did he call him yesterday, a moron?
Did he?
Probably.
I'm sure he did. I don't know why I asked that.
Said that he didn't cut rates because of the tariffs. What do you think about that?
I do think that the Trump administration in this instance, they have a lot of reason to be pressing him, but what they're saying is he's been political. Now, when you look at what Jerome Powell did right before the election,
that's the evidence.
That's the evidence for what they're saying to be 100% true.
That he's got it in him.
Yes. And
what
look,
did he do?
So he lowered the rates right before the mortgage, or it's not the mortgage, but the federal interest rate right before the election, 2 weeks before. And at that point, inflation was at whatever level it was. Well, inflation is actually lower now, and he still won't lower the rates. Now, the purpose of lowering is to combat inflation. Well, you're not really needing to do that right now. So Trump is saying, why are you basically holding off on what you know you need to do when you were willing to do it back when I wasn't the president right before the election? And that is there is a lot of truth in that claim.
You think he should have cut rates?
I don't know whether he should or not right now, but he's put himself in this situation. And Trump has a lot of reason. I would say Trump on behalf of America, because this isn't something that Americans are like, oh my gosh, the fight between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell is really bringing us down. Like, this is super deep stuff. But for Trump, this is about saving a lot of American tax dollars. And I will give him a lot of credit for that he is pressing hard so that when they have all this debt that's coming due pretty much right now, they have to refinance that debt. Well, they got to refinance it at a higher rate than they were expecting to, which in his estimation, now this is Trump's estimation, he says it's going to cost the country $900 billion per point because of the interest on the refinance. Per point that Jerome Powell doesn't bring the rates down. So he's acting in that way on behalf of America. So this fight, you're a moron, all that stuff, that's the way Trump does it.
It's the way Trump does it when the other stuff doesn't work.
Yeah, he likes to sweet talk you.
It's not the go-to.
No, it's not, yeah.
The first comment that President Trump has on what the Fed chair is doing, what rates should be, the first comment that he has on there is not, "Hey, moron," but he's not afraid to go there, and I don't hate it. Do you think people are mad about mean tweets anymore? Like, people are like, I could use some mean tweets and $2 gas right now. I don't think people care anymore.
No, I don't either. That used to be one of the things that the left influencers would bring up a lot and say, oh, look at this guy, he's unhinged. Now they're like, well, we already tried that, and it didn't work for 4 years.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Nobody cares. Everybody knows this is exactly what he does. Trump himself has said, I'll try to sweet talk people, and then I'll try to, give them the belt every now and then or whatever.
How he talks, it doesn't matter anymore because they don't have anything left to persuade people. It doesn't matter what you think about Donald Trump anymore. He is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's there. So if you want to waste time arguing about, you hurt people's feelings, go for it. It hasn't worked out. In fact, it's probably one of the things that contributed to his ability to win as big as he did the last time around. Here's another question for you. Alligator Alcatraz is something that was big in the news yesterday. And, the president heard that the Senate bill had passed as he was doing a press conference there. And he was pretty excited about it. I don't know if he knows every single detail that's in this new Senate bill. I don't know how he could know all the details. I think he would have to know the people who are involved and trust his advisors to give him the reaction, the thoughts that need to be given to say, yeah, this is a good bill, or you should say things like, which he has said before from the Oval Office, there's a lot of good stuff in this bill. There's some stuff that's not so great, but that's what you got to do. He's very open and honest about it. He's not blowing smoke. You got people like Stephen Miller, your advisors, telling you what's going on, keeping you up to date on what is happening. And they're all at Alligator Alcatraz yesterday. And we talked a little bit about it, but we didn't dive deep into the issue of Alligator Alcatraz. Here is Stephen Miller talking about it.
To every Republican state. Now, of course, in a sane country, Democrats would do it too, but they love the illegals. They hate the Americans. We want every governor of a red state, and if you're watching tonight, pick up the phone, call DHS, work with us to build facilities in your state so that we can get the illegals out, we can get the criminals out. And also, very importantly, Laura, we need Congress to pass the big, beautiful bill which contains the funding that ICE desperately needs to carry out the mass deportation agenda.
Now, we reach out to other states, Stephen, and a lot of them are open to helping. Alaska told us that we don't have alligators, but we have lots of bears. However, they aren't aware of any plans for an Alaska version.
This is real life. We don't have alligators. It's like, what predator do we have at our leisure? We have, in southern Illinois, an immense amount of deer. I don't know what you do with them, but it appears as though in some areas they can be domesticated. Is there an insensitivity about the way the Trump administration is handling Alligator Alcatraz?
Well, no. Well, in a way, yes, but that's the point. The point is to get headlines on this so that if you are here illegally, you're like, I think that looks terrible. I mean, that's the point. Because, yes, it'll house some people, but it's also to make people who are here illegally afraid of being caught.
Do you have any thoughts or reservations about people who are here illegally who aren't trafficking people, drugs, crime? Came across, they are illegal. They're criminals in that regard. It's a civil crime.
Mm-hmm.
You think they should have to go to Alligator Alcatraz?
I just don't. I wish I had a stronger opinion. This is such a huge problem for the country that the individual rights of non-citizens almost gets lost in it for me, because
I'm not asking about their right and what to do. I'm asking as an American who's here, being in a place where we have a huge immigration community here of all different kinds. It's not just people from Central America, Mexico, South America, whatever. There are a lot of people who have immigrated to this area. Is there any part of you that's like, when they keep talking about Alligator Alcatraz, and when you hear President Trump say outside the White House, they say you can't run straight away from the alligators, you got to go like this, and then he serpentines his hand, and he goes, you know what that'll buy you? At least 1 second. Is there any part of you that makes you go,
Not really. There just isn't. And I know that because I'm always coming at this as a macro problem rather than a micro problem.
Yeah.
It's so big.
But And I'm pushing. I will say that there's a part of me that's like, I'm not really opposed at all to the process and the procedure, unless their actual biggest intention is to deter. But they've already taken care of the deterrent. There are not people coming here.
That's true.
Illegal anymore. So now it's more about, are you just encouraging people to self-deport? Kristi Noem has said that people are self-deporting, and she says that other countries are saying they're self-deporting. I'd like numbers, and I'd like it to be not vague from the person who gets the air quotes credit for whatever those numbers are. I would like some actual third-party statistics on it. There are going to be people who are removed from this country. It's going to be sad to watch them have to leave. Like, if you knew that person, there are people listening right now who know people in their life who are here illegally, and other than that, they're good people. Other than coming here illegal. And I would say, too, myself, if I was trying, just listen to yesterday when we had Paul Perez on the show, who's with Border Patrol, talk about how the Mexican drug cartels run not just the border, they run Mexico. Just south of the border. The circumstances that those people are living in there are so depraved and upside down. You've got drug cartels running the whole show. We have no idea in this amazing country that we live in what that existence is like. So when I put myself in the shoes of somebody who has come here to get their family out of something else like that, I get it. I wish that we would be talking about Alligator Alcatraz the way we are. I wish it was balanced with, what are we doing for the people who self-deport, who want to come back here? One of the things that was said yesterday at the press conference was President Trump talking about farmers who employ people who are here, not in citizenship status, of course. There are a lot of ways you can get worker visas here. I wish the administration would be championing the right ways to be here. Not to become a citizen necessarily, not to stay here and never have to leave and become a citizen and be able to vote and all that stuff. I wish that they would be talking about the positive, because the way the president spoke yesterday about the people who help our country function on farms was a bright spot. It was a positive thing. He's like, we're gonna help you. But I also think there are a lot of people, I think they tend to be on the left, the most vocal of them, who are like, no American is going to do this job. And who's going to cut our lawns? Who's going to watch our children? Folks, that's the most racist-ish I've ever heard. You can't be like, we need to import help that look like this. Because who's going to do it? I don't know. You? You raise your kids. I think there's a missed opportunity in messaging, and maybe it's coming. We're not even 6 months in. You got to close down the border. Check. You got to deal with the people who are here, working on the check, and then you got to figure out what's next. But I think we're getting to the point where we can talk about how people can be here legally, under legal status, and what that doesn't mean for what you're going to take from the country if you're not making for the country, if you're not paying taxes, and if, all that stuff. Because you can be here. When Brad and I went to the southern border 2 years ago, they talked about all the people who come across the border to work. They do not want to live here. They do not want to be American citizens. They want to work here, and they want to go home. Hooray. High fives all around. Let's talk more about that. Quick break. When we come back, things you need to do right now to have an amazing summer by Ryan Wiggins.
I didn't write this article, but man, do I endorse it.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how to have a great rest of your summer. If you don't listen, you're going to have a bad summer, so you have to stay here.
I think you've convinced all of them. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
CiviaLaw.com, 833-995-WILL. Here's the deal. I have worked it out with Civia Law to give the Annie Fry Show audience just a little extra leg up. When you call them at the number that I have given you and will give you again and again, if you're one of the first 10 callers, and you mention my name, you got to mention Annie, of course, you are going to get a free strategy session. So you can take my word for it that you can trust Todd Sivia to help you plan your trust out, that you can help walk through the complicated questions and answers that go with establishing a will if you need to, or powers of attorney, incredibly important. You can go through that strategy session and learn and interview Todd yourself and see if it's right for you. And it's not, you can talk about your circumstances, complicated family relationships you might have, or children that you have, blended families. Oh my gosh, the list is endless as to why you need to have a legal expert look at all these things to protect you and to protect your loved ones. Todd Sivia is the expert that I chose for my family with my husband. You can get a free strategy session if you choose to sit down with him as well, but you got to call him now. And you got to tell him that I told you to call. 833-995-WILL. 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 Helping you through life's transitions. Go to civialaw.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
William Dunn. My hat's off to those Air Force bubbas. We'll never tell it to them in a bar or to their face, but I'll say it on air because I'm not looking at them. Phenomenal job. You know, they did a great job and a great service for our country.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Drums, please.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins! All right, I want to make sure you're having a great summer. So this is from harryanddavid.com.
Is that the strawberry place? Chocolate place?
No,
Flour?
Harry and David, they make all kinds of cool tables and stuff. You can
Nuts?
Go, yeah. Food. Just fancy.
Two-legged tables.
Yeah, fancy
Is
stuff.
this a list of all the fun things you can buy from them?
No, it has nothing to do with them.
No.
They're just trying to help. And they know how to make things primo. So they're the source here.
Are you being paid for this?
Absolutely not.
We need to declare.
Not at all.
Would you take money?
Yes. Or credit. I don't care.
Like I take
What
money
about
and happily declare.
Nuts.
I would take a mixed nut bag for this. That's fine.
Can we? You're so soft this week. You can't commit to it this week. Like, what's the matter with you?
I don't know.
You need some sugar.
You're right.
That's what you need.
Yeah, you know what I need is a bunch of like chocolate boxes, and I need to.
No, stop it.
I'm fasting from sugar. That's why Andy said that.
But he just laughs at jokes now. He doesn't keep telling.
Yeah,
us.
I'm just like, hey, I'm all over. All right, so the first one is take short vacations this summer.
Agree.
Less is more. A key credo this summer from psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert. See? This is all cited and everything. Despite the title of his book, Be Fearless,
Nut
Change Your
expert.
Life in 28 days. It's great to take short vacations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously I went to Hawaii for 10 days and had been planning that for a long time. But if you go for a long weekend, or even like, I don't know, how long's a long weekend in your mind?
4 days.
4 days, right? A Thursday and a Friday, or a Friday and a Monday. Friday and a Monday kind of breaks up 2 weeks, which is nice. Those trips are great.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do a lot in that amount of time, even if it's just relaxing. Highly recommend.
Me too. Short weekends, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really done a lot of them, but the ones that I did, I've always had a really good time doing.
They are fantastic. I love taking short vacations with my kids one at a time so we can make some memories with each one of them individually.
Yeah,
love
I
doing
took a
that.
page out of the Ryan Wiggins book on that.
Yeah, well, you need to take more parenting advice from me.
But what do you got?
I never
What do you
say
got?
I never say it though. I just do it.
You just said it.
And I just want people to do as I do, not as I say. It's just love your kids like there's no tomorrow, you know?
Are you questioning
No.
my love for my children?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm just telling you what I do. And if you want to take a page out of the Ryan Wiggins parenting book, that's up to you.
Yeah, I've never really considered loving them like that before.
Just like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Sun will come out.
Number 2,
tomorrow.
Get back to nature.
Get back?
Get back to nature.
I don't know.
One way to replace overstimulation is through immersion in the natural world. The hard part is it is really hot, but it's still a good.
What if you're looking at nature from the AC?
If you're standing next to AC outside, it's going to be real hot because that's where the hot air comes out. Number 3, grounding. This involves getting down and dirty with Mother Earth.
Gosh, no.
You lie down, you take your shoes off, you put your feet on the ground with your arms and legs out.
As opposed to the fetal position.
No.
That's for some people. It isn't for me.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
That's basically what that's saying.
Proverbially.
How about journaling? Making diary
also
entries
a no.
in a diary outdoors.
This is
Is it great?
Are my toes still stuck in the ground?
Yes, they are. You've been planted
10
firmly.
toes.
All 10 toes in the mud, and then you write about it.
Dear diary.
These are for adults, too. I found a bunch of really good stuff for kids to do, but I'm like, no, I want stuff for us to do. Number 6, coloring, drawing, and painting.
This is basically Hunter's house arrest.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Is this by Schmunter Biden?
He's writing for Harry and David now.
Probably.
Schmunter Biden. What about meditation?
Prayer.
Prayer. Listen to the audio of a meditation or music you like when you're out in nature. There's a lot about outdoors here.
This is a hippie thing.
It is very hippie. Listen to this one.
I like electricity and comfort indoors.
Cook and eat plant-based foods.
You didn't read this far into the article, did you? You
I
didn't read it.
I certainly
you didn't read
did.
That. You did not read that point before you brought that article on this show.
I didn't think we'd get this far.
Yeah, so you didn't read
but
it.
I did read it.
So you didn't read it, did you?
I absolutely read it.
Did you know Did you know that point was included in there?
Yes.
And you still brought it to the show?
I still brought it in because I thought it was kind of funny and stupid.
Congrats. It's Ryan Wiggins, everybody. Ryan Wiggins. Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project. Next.
Without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
RetirementKey.com is the website. Connect with Thomas Helbig, with Bob and Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisory Group, and ensure that your retirement is worry-free. Nothing to worry about when you have the discussion as you're approaching retirement with the people who can help you transition into retirement. Give you the confidence you need that when it comes that last day to work, you know exactly what happens next. They give you the tips and tricks.
Hey, it's Mark Cox, and between now and the chances are you or someone you know is in the market to buy or sell a home. And like me, you probably know a few realtors. In fact, I know several. However, when I needed to sell my home, I made just one call to Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Yes, I'm an actual client. No matter what the market does, Gloria Lou will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference.
St. Louis home sellers, if you're looking for certainty and the most money guaranteed for the sale of your home, call me, Gloria Lou. My name is My Promise, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call me directly at 314-325-6888 or visit me online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. A guilty plea in Idaho. I'm Lisa Brady. Brian Koberger in a county courtroom in Boise admitting he killed 4 University of Idaho students in 2022, stabbing them to death.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, enter the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder? Yes.
District Judge Stephen Hippler questioning Koberger about the killing of each victim.
On or about that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Kaylee Gonzalez, a human being? Yes. And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice aforethought? Yes.
Gonsalves's father refusing to enter the courtroom today in protest over how prosecutors have handled the case, including a plea deal the judge says he knew nothing about until Monday. But at least 2 victims' families support the deal. Koberger will face life in prison. The deal takes the death penalty off the table. Sean Diddy Combs falling to his knees and praying in court as a jury delivers a split verdict at his sex trafficking trial.
Jurors have found Sean Diddy Combs not guilty of the most serious charge of racketeering as well as sex trafficking charges, but did find him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Shortly after beginning their 3rd day of deliberations, members of the jury came back with the verdict. Combs, who chose not to testify in the trial, had been accused of flying people around the country, including his girlfriends and paid male sex workers, to engage in sexual encounters, a felony violation of the Federal Mann Act.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Combs could still face up to 10 years in prison. The judge now weighing arguments on whether to grant bail ahead of sentencing. America is listening to Fox News.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Sunshine in control on this Wednesday afternoon. It's still relatively comfortable to be out and about. 89 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, beautiful evening. Sun going down around 8:30 or so. 69 for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny, a slow build-up in the humidity during the afternoon, 93. Friday, the 4th of July, sunny, hot, and humid, 95 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you are nearing retirement and you're wondering how long your money is going to last, you want answers to questions. And the Retirement Advisory Group, they have those answers to those questions for you. When you get to be 59 and a half, are you aware that that's like a new magical number? Half birthdays, usually for the little kids, 59 and a half, that's a huge birthday for you as well. Why? Well, call the Retirement Advisory Group and find out. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. That's the number to call to make sure that you set up your free, no obligation, no cost retirement review with the folks who are the experts. Thomas Helbig, Bob and Tammy Kershaw can help walk you through everything you need to know about entering into retirement so that you have the peace of mind that you need to actually go into retirement and make sure that you are well taken care of. You've worked hard for it. You deserve it. Call the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com. You're listening to the Annie Fry Show Live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Probably the best month of any president in this century, Brett. And I mean, not just beating Iran and not just getting the Supreme Court going his way, getting the Dow and the NASDAQ records up high and getting trade deals with China and Canada. I mean, this bill. This bill is everything that the president campaigned on. It was a narrow path and a narrow gate through the House. It was a narrower path and a narrower gate through the Senate. Now it's got to go to the Rules Committee, and there are some people who would wish it was a little bit different. But I'm hoping the Speaker and the entire leadership team push it on through to the floor. Let's have a vote. Momentum is on President Trump's side. I would like to keep it going, get the one big, beautiful bill into law, and then come back and work on a second reconciliation that might make more people happier on the margins.
There's Hugh Hewitt, not always been the hugest person praising Donald Trump, but very much so providing the accolades that many of us feel who voted for him. This man is delivering on promise after promise after promise on a whole different amount of fronts. The Supreme Court last week, we saw a whole bunch more wins for the Trump administration. And we want to get our expert friend on here. Mike Davis joins us once again, a founder and president of the Article 3 Project on X at Mr. DDMIA. Go follow him and interact with him. You're great there. And we're always grateful to have you here as well. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back, Annie.
You bet. I want to just get your open thoughts on the president's willingness to come into his second term with a massive game plan, willing to execute it, knowing that the courts would be after him. Hasn't stopped him. He keeps winning.
When President Trump ran the first time, he had never run for office. He had never served in office. He had a very consequential first term, but even he will admit he made mistakes, particularly on personnel. He's had 4 years in office. He's had 4 years to reflect and 4 years to plan, and he is ready to go on day one. And you're seeing that with his executive orders on day one to do exactly what he promised American voters he would do. He said he would secure our border. He would expel illegal aliens, particularly foreign terrorists like Tren de Aragua and MS-13. He would cut waste, fraud, and abuse. He would deliver tax relief for real Americans and real America. He would lower energy prices. He would lower inflation. He's been doing all of those things, and this one big, beautiful bill puts it into law.
People say they're not cutting enough spending. There's the detractors. I can understand why somebody would look at this and want it to be more fiscally conservative. You've been an enormous advocate for getting this country back in order, and you've fought very hard for President Trump to be able to be the person who's doing that during the campaign. He's delivering on his promises. President Trump says he wants this bill to pass. Do you encourage the American people who might be skeptical of some of the spending that's in this, the cuts that aren't, to trust the president on this?
The American people should absolutely trust the president. He is fighting for real Americans in real America. He doesn't need this job. He's already had it. He has a better airplane. He has better houses. He has better cars. He has better helicopter. He doesn't need this. He's doing this because he loves America. With these deals, you're not going to get everything you want because you're dealing with schizophrenic cats in the Senate and in the House. You're trying to herd. We have a narrow margin, and the president is going to deliver. We've heard a lot of politicians for almost 100 years talking about how they're going to cut spending going back to FDR. I think President Trump is the only president of whom I'm aware who has actually shut down a government agency, with USAID and several others. He's restructuring our executive branch. He's closing down agencies. He's closing down offices. He's telling these overpaid and underworked federal workers to go get real jobs in the real world. And so I think the American people need to trust the president. This one big, beautiful bill is an important step, but it's just a step, and there are going to be many steps over the next 4 years to restore Americans' faith in our government, because the president, like I said, he doesn't need this job. He's doing it because he loves his country.
Amen to that. We're speaking with Mike Davis, the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, Article 3, the number 3 project.org. Learn more there. Mike, when you reflect last week on the Supreme Court rulings that have followed, he's not losing. It doesn't seem like he's losing anywhere. And the biggest effort that the left has had against him is in these activist district courts. Is the president... Are the wins that came last week bigger than just on the specific issues there, on the left's ability to fight against this administration?
Yes, President Trump's biggest and most consequential accomplishment of his first term was the first constitutionalist Supreme Court in 90 years. And while they may disappoint us from time to time, I am a very loud critic when they do. Overall, this is a constitutionalist court. And we saw that at the end of this last term with these monumental 6-3 rulings, including the ruling that these activist judges, there are 800 district court judges around the country. They have lifetime tenure. They have pay protection. They don't have legislative power. They have a modest but crucial role, and that's to decide cases and controversies of the parties properly before them with redressable claims, nothing more, nothing less. And the Supreme Court just told these judicial activists, these Democrat judges, these judicial saboteurs, that their game is up, that the American people elected the president with an overwhelming mandate, 312 electoral votes, all 7 swing states. He kept the House. He won a comfortable majority in the Senate. He's going to do what he promised American voters he's going to do. And that's unthinkable in Washington. And these activist judges are not going to sabotage his presidency.
Mike Davis speaking with us right now. The president is obviously won on closing the border. He's been incredibly successful in doing so. Not even 6 months in office quite yet. He's working on the deportations that come along with getting the people who are here illegally back to the countries where they go to be home. What do you want to see the president really take, the bull by the horns next of all of the promises that he's made? Where does he go from here?
I think his most important job is to expel the 20 million illegal aliens who Joe Biden illegally mass imported into this country. That is job number one. If we lose our identity as a country, we are losing our sovereignty. We lose everything. We the people have the sovereign right to control our borders and to control our populace. And we never gave away that sovereign right at any time, not at our founding, not after the Civil War, not in any Congress since then, certainly not after the last election. And these activist judges need to understand that it is a very bright red line if they try to say, after Joe Biden mass imported 20 million illegal aliens, that President Trump cannot expel these illegal aliens out of our country. It's unacceptable, and we're not going to put up with it. The president has a constitutional right. He has a constitutional duty to repel this foreign invasion. That is the president's most important job.
Mike Davis speaking with us right now. I've heard the president, I think the vice president was discussing this as well, but their presence here, detractors will say they're here, they're not doing anything wrong. Maybe they came here illegally, but they're paying taxes, so on and so forth. There's a huge implication on census and representation in Congress. Do you see the possibility that this administration would take action in a census regard before it would naturally happen in its 10-year cycle?
They should, because when we, at our founding and after the Civil War, when we had the Civil War amendments, we never envisioned that illegal aliens would be able to come into our country, walk across our border, and get full due process rights of Americans. We never agreed to that. They need to get the hell out of our country, and these activist judges need to get the hell out of the president's way.
Mike Davis, we are very grateful for your time here. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mike Davis is the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, on X at Mr. DDMIA, and article number 3project.org. Great to have him on the show to talk about the progress that the president has made so far, but the work is not anywhere near done. Lots to go. And certainly, as Mike Davis sees it, he's going to have the authority, the constitutional authority, to get the job done. We're going to take a quick break here, get Ryan back in studio here with us in just a moment. We are going to speak with Congressman Darin LaHood at 1:30, barring any vote that he might have to participate in. We're watching as the big, beautiful bill in the House is being debated. Are they going to pass it as it is? Do you want the House to pass the Senate's BBB? That's the YouTube poll. Go vote. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, that's the easy way to get a mortgage that you are going to want to brag to people about. The nice thing, and I've seen this day after day in our chat here with the Annie Fry Show, people are like, Stewie was so great to me. Here's the deal. When you need a new mortgage because you're buying a new home, you're going to have to get a mortgage unless you're loaded. High five to you. If you need a mortgage, you want the best deal possible on that long-term loan. Even if it's a 10-year mortgage, it's still a long time to pay back a loan. You want the best deal you can get. Go to Stewie, get the bagel loan, pay $0 in closing costs, qualify for the lowest rates out there that are available to you, and close in less than 2 weeks. What an attractive buyer you're going to be. Maybe you can get that offer in on a house, a fair offer, and be the one that is chosen because you're solid. Stewie's going to make sure of that. If you're looking to refinance your home, that's the bagel loan I've done 2 times. The second time with a little cash out for a project we needed to finish on the house. Stewie's going to walk you through everything you need to know. And again, the bagel loan equals no closing costs. And the bagel loan is only available with Stewie. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox. Go to nordiciusa.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
So sweet. Living in this big blue world with my head up and out of space.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I know I'll be okay. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be okay. I know I'll be okay.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us here this afternoon. 4th of July is upon us. Independence Day. This has got to be one of the best holidays of the year. I love Independence Day.
I do too, and I used to hate summer, and it's because I used to work. Yeah, I'm not kidding, because I used to work at golf courses throughout pretty much high school and college, and summer meant basically standing in the heat all day, every day. And it's been a while for me to kind of get past the mental block of, I don't have to be, I'm not actually in the heat like I was all day, every day.
It's the same kind of mental redistribution you need to have when you're like, I don't get summer off for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's very true.
May rolls around and you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, wait,
man.
I still work.
Dang it. Not in my house, not in your house either.
No, they're all home, just like at your house.
So let's talk about that. So the wife is off because she's a teacher. So you are, and you got 3 kids. Everybody's off. How long, if at all, do you anticipate that everybody else gets to be off, but I don't? Does that set in at all? When everyone's talking about school's almost over, blah, blah, blah.
How long before I go, oh, wait, that's not me?
No, just like, when do they start counting down?
August.
I think for us, it's usually like after winter sports. Spring just goes, it goes by so fast in school.
When I tell you, when we really start counting down, it's when the weeks sound like not that many.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 weeks.
If it's still like
5 or
6, 7
6
weeks, that's not good enough for the kids to go, oh.
Post spring break.
Or my wife. Probably post-spring break, because that's when it's about 4.
Because
that's
there's benchmarks. You go through the school and you've got these benchmarks. There's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, there's spring break. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does just whoosh by.
Yeah, but you know what? It flies because you're so busy at the end of the school year, but it drags from the time Easter and spring break goes by till the end of the school year.
That's not my experience.
There is not, well, there's no holidays or anything. I mean, you're just nose to the grindstone. I don't know about your husband, but my wife, she doesn't come up for air that last 4 weeks.
I mean, spring break was in the middle of April, so there were only like 5 or 6 weeks of school left after that.
Yeah, it was a late one.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like that at all. It was like trying to hustle and bustle and get everything done as fast as we can. For me, in our house, it's like, especially when spring break is over, everyone's like, all we talk about is school's almost over in our house. And we have 3 different schools that we're going to. Husband teaches, son goes to high school, kids are in grade school. So there are 3 different schedules. So like my son got out like a week earlier than everyone else. For me, I love when they're off during the school year. I spend like a week thinking, man, kind of jealous of that. And then my husband looks at me like, don't go. And I'm like, bye, gotta go make some money.
Yeah,
they ask me to come in every day. But there is a point where I don't know how stay-at-home moms and dads do it, but I am happy to be here. There's a dumpster in my driveway right now. My kids hear the word dumpster and they begin to quake. They're like, no. Sorry, kids, we're getting rid of stuff.
Our house looks so much better in the summer than it does in the other
because there's a minute to attend to it.
Because you can actually clean up. Man, I just, summer for me is it's so much more relaxing than other seasons. The pace, and maybe that's the kids are home and my wife's home and your husband's home, but it feels so much more chill, and it's probably because of the schedules being so much more empty. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Do you excited when they go back to school?
By the end of summer, I know that my wife typically has been, but honestly, I don't know if you ever got out of this phase because you still have a very young kid at home. But we're to that age now where we can leave for a half an hour or so and come back and they're okay. And so they're becoming...
We have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old almost.
But you still have a very young...
Well, she's 4.
Yeah. So
they can watch her.
Well, I guess that's true. At the point now where they can watch even your youngest.
The 4-year-old doesn't watch herself. She probably close to could, but we have built-in sitters now.
Yeah.
freedom.
It's nice. When did you hit that point where you could start actually leaving the house without worrying about the kids? Had to be just recently.
I mean, a couple years. The amount of time that you're willing to be gone grows. How old were you the first time you stayed at home by yourself overnight?
Ooh, overnight? I don't have a specific memory.
30?
I had to have been, in my late 30s.
But it was the 80s.
Because I would just, in my early 30s, I'd just walk over, I'd turn the stove on, I'd fall asleep right there in the kitchen.
My hand on there. Mom kept telling me don't. Do you remember staying at home by yourself in high school?
Oh, yeah.
Overnight?
In high school, I do. I
Overnight?
just don't remember when the first time would have been.
Do you think you were... So my son's 15. And I've said to him before, like, do you think you could spend the night here? If we had to go away for a weekend, would you... Because, we've got 2 dogs. And if he could stay home and take care of the dogs, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Can you leave a 15-year-old at home overnight?
Probably, but he can't drive yet. So that's kind of touchy. I'm not sure.
He also wouldn't need to. We're not.
Yeah.
We're in town.
Yeah, and we had phones when I was a kid, but you're so much more connected to everything now too.
Like, I don't think there's a law on it, and certainly in Illinois, there's no specific law on when you can leave kids in the stead of other children. Jensen has gone and taken a babysitting class, the YMCA class, which was like a day late last summer. Maybe it was in the winter. I don't know, but she's gone through all of that. But the next thing up is can the 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old, stay at home by himself overnight?
Yeah, I think so.
When he does that, you want me to call him? You guys can play video games.
Nah, that's okay. I'm probably going to sleep way before he does.
That's the facts. Do you feel like your kids are, because you've got twins and then a younger one, do you feel like they are different in their level of responsibility and independence? Are they all very unique?
Yeah, they are. Though the twins, they're the same age, so it's kind of easy to judge them against each other.
I feel sorry for your wife if they weren't.
My youngest seems way younger. I mean, he is 3 years younger than them, but he seems like, and maybe it's just our perception, but I think of him going into 3rd grade compared to when my twins were going into 3rd grade, and they seem like they just were a lot older at that age. I don't know why. It just does.
It's hard because when you think back to what we did in the 80s and the 90s as kids, the freedom that we had, did your parents both work?
Mm-hmm. Well, on and off. My mom would have a job for a while, and then she'd kind of move around a little bit. But she was mostly.
Was she gone in the summer? Did you guys? You have a brother?
I think she got jobs that she could be off during the summer when I was younger. It's a weird situation though, because when I still have cystic fibrosis. She had to do a lot of care for me when I was little.
Yeah.
And so she couldn't really work a full-time job.
Sure.
And then the older I got, the more independent I got, the more she could. But then my brother was 8 years younger than me, so he wasn't exactly.
Did he have more freedoms than you did?
I think probably.
You didn't even know. You don't even care.
Well, I think I would probably be at home with him and expected to kind of watch him when I was a little older. And I did, but I mean, it was like the 13, 14-year-old boy version of like, get out of my way.
The big brother.
Yeah.
That's understood. I recall being at home and both my parents always worked. None of them ever had the luxury of having summers off. And I just remember summer, like the time while they were at work was just this blur of, what do you want to do? And we would sit at home, and my brother and I played together a lot more than because I'm in the middle. So I had a younger brother and an older sister. She kind of was on her own, doing her own thing, pretty disinterested in her little sister, probably a lot like you and your little brother. But my brother and I, we played hard and we fought hard. It was always 100% whichever one it was in any given amount of 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But we would go in the woods and we would build forts and throw ropes over trees and tie buckets to them so we could transport things from here to there. And like, I don't know. I remember doing it one time and being like, God, that seemed a lot more impressive in my head.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, like one thing after the next, we'd go out into the woods and I mean, I remember one time I literally got stuck in the mud in the creek and had to like I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and I was walking along the creek, and there was some mud. It's like clay mud, and it looks like it's solid mud, but it wasn't. And I just went, and I got stuck up to like mid-calf in the mud, and I had to. I couldn't get out. I had to throw myself forward on the bank of the creek and grab sticks and pull myself out. And those shoes are down there somewhere or washed away wherever. But there was nobody home, and that's just the way it was.
Did you ever make a tin can phone?
Yeah, I think so.
Was there ever a time in which a tin can phone was valuable more than you could just yell to the other person?
In my imagination, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to take a very quick break and come back with Congressman Darin LaHood. Voting in the House has begun. Lots of procedural stuff. Let's see what the congressman has to say next.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
RulerFoods.com. If you are saving this weekend for the 4th of July event at your house, make sure you do your shopping at Ruler Foods. You will save on all of the good stuff. 2-pound packs of strawberries or 18-ounce blueberries, $3.99 each. Enjoy sweet, juicy, seedless watermelons. What's more American than that? $3.99 for that watermelon. Fire up the grill with 73% Kroger lean ground beef. Sold in a 3-pound roll, just $3.49 a pound. And all of that soda pop that you want next to the pool, ice cold Pepsi, Mountain Dew, A&W, or root beer. When you buy 4, just $17. 4 for $17 there. Kroger potato chips, $1.49 each. You can stock up and save this Independence Day weekend for your barbecue, for your however hard you choose to America this weekend by shopping at Ruler Foods. The name brands you love, the Kroger brands that come at Ruler Foods prices, all at your local Ruler Foods. Go online, type in your zip code, and find the Ruler Foods that's closest to you. It's all there at rulerfoods.com.
At the Little Bit Foundation, their philosophy is simple. Remove barriers to learning and empower under-resourced students to success in the classroom and beyond. Little Bit currently serves 17,000 students in 54 schools in the St. Louis metro area, including many impacted by the recent tornado. Join Together Credit Union in supporting the Little Bit Foundation's mission by contributing to their back-to-school drive at all 14 local branch locations during the month of July. For more information about the Little Bit Foundation and how you can support their mission, visit thelittlebitfoundation.org.
Illinois Representative Darin LaHood coming up next. It is 1:31. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show.
Well, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We've been talking about the big, beautiful bill. We're asking you right now on the YouTube live chat poll, should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill? Yes or no? We got 183 votes in right now. We need to keep them coming. Let's talk to the congressman about him. Darin LaHood joins us once again. Thank you, Representative, for being here. Illinois 16th District Representative. Tell us what we need to know here in St. Louis, a lot of Illinois listeners as well, about this bill that is in front of the House.
Well, Annie, thanks for having me on. Always good to be with your listeners. Annie, if you go back and look at why President Trump got elected overwhelmingly last November, I believe it was for two sole reasons. One, fixing the economy, and then also addressing the unmitigated disaster at our southern border. And I believe the president is doing everything on the border to fix that. On the economy, inflation is way too high. Interest rates are too high. People can't afford things. This bill, the one big, beautiful bill, will go a long way to help put more money in the pockets of working class people in southern Illinois and Missouri and across my district, but also reduce taxes on working people. And so this bill addresses many of the things involved with fixing the economy, lowering energy costs. And so I believe this will move us in the direction of giving rocket fuel to the economy. Remember, in 2017, under the first President Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we had the best economy in my lifetime. We moved 6.5 million people out of poverty, record low unemployment, higher wages. And so this bill, while not perfect, I wish it cut a little bit more spending and reduced the deficit. is going to be very, very good for the economy and working people.
I have a listener who commented here on our YouTube live, says, thumbs down, fix it or break it up and pass smaller, beautiful bills. Why does it have to be one big, beautiful bill?
Yeah, so good question, Annie, and good question from your listener. We are doing this through reconciliation. While we did win the House and the Senate and the White House, we didn't win the Senate by 60 votes. You have to have 60 votes to avoid a filibuster. So we get one time of year to do reconciliation. This is a Republican-only bill. What that means is because we do it through budget reconciliation, we don't need 60 votes in the Senate. It's just a majority. And as you saw yesterday, in the Senate, it was a 51-50 vote with J.D. Vance casting the deciding vote. This is a Republican bill, but this is what we ran on, and that's why we're doing it the way we can't split it up because you only get one shot at reconciliation. And so there is a number of big things in here. Securing our southern border by making the executive orders that President Trump put in place earlier this year, making those laws. We're making President Trump's historic tax cuts permanent. We're bolstering our military. We're eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. We're reforming Medicaid so that able-bodied adults can no longer be on Medicaid. We got to move them into a job. So it's a lot, but it's our one time to fulfill those campaign promises that President Trump ran on, and we ran on as Republicans.
So Congressman Darin LaHood, Illinois 16th District Representative, talking with us right now. You can't use reconciliation to do these bills sequentially and separately. Has to all, because you get one shot at it?
Exactly. You probably said it better than I did. Yeah, we can only do reconciliation once. We can lump a bunch of stuff together to avoid the filibuster in the Senate, and that's what we've done here.
Honestly, I'm glad you brought that up because I understand the reconciliation process and I don't know if I understand it. I'm aware of it. I'll put it that way. But we've been talking a lot about it, but I don't think that the messaging has been out there as much that you only get one shot at this year to do that at one time, which is why all of this has to come together. A lot of people are saying do smaller bills. That's a great reason why you can't do smaller bills. One of the things that I've also heard other people championing about this bill, they keep talking about how it helps school choice. I'm not sure how aware or well-versed you are on the school choice aspects of this bill. Can you give us some information?
Absolutely. So I'm a supporter of school choice. I believe that parents ought to have the option to send their kids to the school of their choice and be able to use their tax money to do that. What we've put in this bill is a provision that allows for school choice across the country. Now, I'm going to get into the weeds a little bit here, but because of the rules of budget reconciliation, what we can and can't do, it allows states to opt into school choice and then to be able to do that. So we can't blanket and mandate that every state does it, but we allow states to opt in. If you opt in, then there's going to be a federal program it's going to be a fund of $10 billion that will allow parents in states that opt in, and I assume it'll be a lot of Republican states, that then they can allow their children to go to the school of their choice. What we've seen anecdotally and with clear evidence is in many of the District of Columbia is a good example where school choice has been used in limited areas. Kids are better off. They're better educated. They're more likely to go to college if they're able to have school choice.
Amen to that. In the blue state of Illinois, if Governor Pritzker gets a third term, don't know that we'll be able to enjoy those benefits anytime soon. SALT is something that's been talked a lot. Usually it's discussed regarding New York because it seems as though the representatives in Congress who are fighting hard for this are a lot coming from New York. For Illinoisans, people in your state and mine, where is the SALT deduction status right now? And what's your take on that as a red Republican in a blue state like Illinois?
Yeah, well, our taxes are way too high in Illinois. When J.B. Pritzker was before the House Government Oversight Committee several weeks ago, I brought up the statistic that Illinois, unfortunately, says the second highest state and federal tax combination anywhere in the country, second highest of all 50 states. So our taxes are high. Property taxes are way too high. The SALT is an acronym, Andy, for state and local tax deduction was what it is. It's called SALT. And it's used by blue states to put in a deduction so that they don't have to pay state and local taxes that are very expensive. But I am not in favor of raising the SALT deduction, only because I don't think we should be bailing out high tax states. States like Illinois, where Governor Pritzker raises your taxes, or Governor Hochul raised your taxes in New York, or California, or Governor Newsom raised your taxes. This allows them to continue to do that by giving people a tax deduction. I understand why they want it, because it helps them in high tax states. I don't think taxpayers across the country should be bailing out rich people in New York or New Jersey or Connecticut or Illinois.
Yeah, 100%. We're speaking with Congressman LaHood. A lot of people, especially the folks I talk to here as I sit in Missouri, say Illinois needs to fix their tax problems. Missouri doesn't need to fix Illinois' tax problems. And when you've got a Governor J.B. Pritzker, a supermajority of Democrats in your General Assembly, it's hard to do that. I'm just going to ask you, because your name keeps getting floated around in conversations I'm having for a potential candidate for governor. Do you think that you could be a part of trying to get those taxes back into a respectable place for Illinoisans, maybe in a statewide office?
Well, there's no doubt J.B. Pritzker has to go. I think he's been a disaster for the state. We continue to hemorrhage people out of our state. We have record out-migration. We're literally number one of all 50 states on people that are leaving our state because of our high taxes. We also have 500,000 illegal immigrants living in Illinois because of our sanctuary city, sanctuary state policy under J.B. Pritzker. Now, you would think 500,000, that's a lot in a border state. But we're not a border state. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And so, yes, we need new leadership there. Annie, I just got sworn in as the 16th District Member of Congress last January. I'm here in Washington, D.C., fighting for this one big, beautiful bill. I have a job to do right now. I love the job that I have right now. I serve on Ways and Means. I serve on the Intelligence Committee. There'll be a time and place for politics at a later time. But I've gotten a lot of encouragement from smart, bright people and constituents that think we ought to have a good Republican candidate. So we'll give it some thought and make a decision at a later time.
Well, I'm going to be watching for that decision. I would love to see you in that position and love what you're doing there for your constituents. One of the few districts in the state of Illinois that has some common sense with a Republican leader. Last question before we let you go, and we appreciate your time. You expect the bill to pass, the big, beautiful bill to pass and be on President Trump's desk on July 4th?
Well, that's what we promised, is to get it done by the 4th of July. That's what the president's asked us to do, and so we're working hard. We're in D.C. today. We're here yesterday. We're on the House floor. We're working to get this done. And the other thing I just want to mention, Annie, is what we're doing for working people in this bill and what the president ran on. No tax on tips. So that's for our waitresses or our maids. No tax on overtime pay. No tax on car loan interest. Tax relief for seniors that are on fixed income with Social Security. President Trump is fulfilling his promises. This isn't, if you listen to Democrats, this is tax breaks for rich people. It's in fact not true. First time ever a president is focused on the working class and letting the private sector flourish. So I'm excited for the opportunity to get our economy back on track. Like I said at the beginning, failure is not an option. We need to get this done today or tomorrow at the latest and get it to President Trump by 4th of July.
Congressman LaHood, you represent Illinois well. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, Annie. Take care. Happy 4th of July.
Yep, you as well. Happy Independence Day. Congressman Darin LaHood, he is the representative for Illinois' 16th District, member of the Ways and Means Committee, House Intel Committee, Select Committee on the CCP. He didn't say no to the governor thing.
No, it's not a no. And a no is not a yes.
No politician should ever, if like, would you like to be governor? And they're like, are you kidding me? I'm not qualified. No, they're never going to say that. He certainly would be qualified. He'd be way more qualified than the disaster that we have right now in the governor's mansion. I don't know if he knows where the governor's mansion is. Chicago. His mansions.
There's mansions.
His toiletless.
Yeah.
You know how many people told me when I asked about giving me home building advice? They're like, make sure you don't put too many functioning toilets in there. I'm like, okay.
It's good advice.
It is good advice.
In Illinois. That needs to be brought up more often anytime we talk about Illinois tax, especially property taxes, that the governor did that to avoid property taxes.
And you know what the difference is between Governor Pritzker and Donald Trump? Donald Trump was on the debate stage with Hillary Clinton, and she's like, oh, you just want to help out your friends and blah, blah, blah about like the tax codes and how the economy works. And he's like, Are you kidding me? He's like, I'm the best person for the job because I know how to use the system to benefit me. I know the places, and of course I'm going to use the system to benefit me when the law is put in place by your buddies that they use to benefit themselves. I'm the one who will stand up here and admit that I do use that for my benefit. To the point that Dave Chappelle was like, that dude's a thug. Like, that is on the stage of Saturday Night Live, and he's like, that was stone cold, where Trump is like, yeah, I use it, and I'm happy to stand here and say that I do. And he called out the fact that Hillary wants to make you think she's like the Sunday school teacher who is looking like, shame on him. Oh, he's so greedy. Do you see how he's using those laws to his benefit? And then he's like, you'll be in jail.
Yeah.
That's like the Olaf version of what happened in that debate. If you know, you know. But that is a situation where you have Donald Trump going, yes, I'm not paying taxes that I don't have to pay. You think that's somehow patriotic? Hillary, are you paying taxes that you don't have to pay? Of course she's not. J.B. Pritzker's like, wink, wink, nod, nod. I only need one functioning toilet. And we're like, doubt it. He's gaming the system that he's imposing upon other people in his state and running from it. Trump's like, here I am. You don't like it? Change the law.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a quote.
But J.B. Pritzker does a lot of hard-hitting interviews, though.
I'm not sure about that.
I've seen him on some podcasts that were, well, actually, they were pretty friendly. Never mind.
Have you seen him on a podcast?
I have.
Which one?
They were like...
Not the Annie Fry Show podcast.
Illinois Friends podcast or something.
Yeah, I remember. It's like the two ladies or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, that was a couple months ago.
What's the podcast? The Sweaty Balls one? That's a radio show.
That's a fake radio show.
I know, but what is it?
That's from Saturday Night Live.
I know. What's the name of the show?
Oh,
I know what I'm talking about. I just don't know the name.
It was not Sweaty Balls.
I know, but that's everybody knows the turtlenecks that go along with Anna Gasteyer and
Molly Shannon
doing an NPR show. It's an NPR show.
It pretty much is.
I think that they say it.
Do they? I don't know.
If you've never listened to NPR, just one time listen and you'll think it's a parody. I shouldn't. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
AirComfortService.com. Your comfort zone is 314-513-0091. Get your AC checked and make sure it's functioning properly. You do not want to overlook this. And by overlook it, nobody thinks of their air conditioner until it's not working. And those repairs usually cost more than the, filter that you should have changed or the maintenance that you can have done just by having regular system checks a couple times a year. And when Air Comfort Service comes in to check your AC because it's hot outside and you want to make sure it's cool inside, guess what? They check your furnace as well. So they can get the jump on anything that might develop into a costly repair, God forbid a replacement. But if you are in need of a replacement, Air Comfort Service is going to hook you up. They can help you with tax rebates, just great opportunities with financing and everything. Air Comfort Service is going to walk you through everything you need to know to make the decision that feels like the educated and right decision for you and for your budget. Every time. I trust them in my home. They've been there many times. The HVAC system in my house is from Air Comfort Service, and you can trust them as well. Tell them Annie sent you, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Rolling hot dogs 2 for $5 on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, 'cause they're on the run. Pick your toppings anyway. Roll into this deal. Pick your 2, big Q2. Rolling makes a meal. Mustard relish, sauerkraut. Ain't no need to scream and shout. Get 2 all beef hot dogs and a big Q for $5. Only at QT. More than a gas station.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is happening now. Tune in to the Annie Fry Show live stream. Vote and be a part of the conversation by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. Subscribe and leave a comment.
Make up your mind.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
around late tonight by my side.
YouTube live chat poll. I love that riff. I don't want to talk over it. Should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill? Yes or no? We just spoke with Congressman Darin LaHood. He's a yes, it sounds like. I didn't ask him specifically. Maybe that's a fault on my part. It just sounded like he was a hard yes on it. He said it's not perfect, but he said that this is part of the promise that the president made, and he talked about the good things that are in it. Brad, are you a yes or a no on today's poll question? Should the House pass the Senate's bill?
I'm a yes on this, and I think you've touched on this in the past, but you can't let the perfect get in the way of the good. And like the question is, and Ryan, I know your big stress is like we have a once in a lifetime opportunity, but Annie also says we have the votes. And then whenever you take the once in a lifetime opportunity and you've got the votes,
budget.
Right, and the votes, you get as best you can with what those two things come together. And this is what they've worked out, and so I think this is as best as they can get. And I know that there's like still hope for more stuff to be cut later on, so I'm not that worried about it. So I'm a big yes on this. Let's pass this. Let's get it going, and then let's get these rescission package rolling.
So the rescissions package, does that have to get a 60 vote in the Senate?
No, I don't think it does. I think it's just a simple majority.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
In the Senate?
Yeah.
How?
Because I think it's still spending related.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Utah guy? Harry Reid?
Mike Lee.
No.
Oh.
No, didn't Harry Reid change that?
Nevada.
Same thing.
Did he change?
Sorry. How many people are listening to us right now in Utah and Nevada?
Well, he changed the filibuster rule for court nominations. I don't know about that particular thing.
I wonder if he regrets it. Is Harry Reid alive?
Oh, good question.
Sorry, Harry.
Part of me says no. I wish there was only a way to find out.
I know. We just sit around here like millennials and wonder.
Harry Reid.
Back in the day, like, if
Harry
only we could Google it.
Dead. He did. He died in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I think isn't the Nevada airport named after him?
I wish we could find out.
JB comments, dead.
Harry Reid International Airport.
See, I kind of know lots of things.
Code LAS. Clark County Department of Education. I would assume that
it's
is
the Vegas airport.
Vegas.
Yes. Harry Reid.
Harry Reid International Airport. What a patriot that
Harry
man has
Reid
been.
fell down some stairs or took a trip in a fall, like at one of those consequential moments in political history. He came back and he looked like he had the snot kicked out of him. Do you recall that?
No, I don't remember that.
I do.
That seems to happen to lawmakers a lot.
How come you're not studied on Harry Reid? You knew what we were going to talk about today.
Well, I at least knew what he changed as far as the filibuster rule. That was good to know.
Did you confirm that, or you just assumed?
No, I'm telling you that is a fact. He may have changed other things, though. I know he's the one that changed, because the court nominations were getting blocked up when Democrats had the majority, but they didn't have a supermajority. So he changed it to where you only had to have a majority for court nominations.
The Brian Kohlberger case, the Idaho murders, those 4 innocent college students, he pled guilty today. There was an agreement. It really kind of all came down yesterday, I think it was, that they were going to have a plea deal and he was going to plead guilty. And in exchange for that, he wouldn't get the death penalty. Did you know that in Idaho, they had recently approved death penalty by firing squad?
No.
Whoa.
I was listening to, I think it was Outnumbered today, and their male guest was a legal expert. And he was talking about how it seemed like a slam dunk case that Kohlberger was going to be found guilty. Do you remember there was a network news report, maybe NBC, that did a documentary on it a few months ago? And he said the only reason why he thought that this plea deal might have been agreed by the prosecution, which is essentially, you're going to plead guilty, you're not going to get the death penalty, he's totally going to spend life in prison, but he gets life. He gets life. These individuals that he killed, he's pleading guilty. He's saying he did it. They don't get life. He now gets life. The sentencing hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure he'll get multiple life sentences in jail. we've talked off air, maybe a little bit on air, about these big trials, these, true crime things. I don't follow them very carefully. I know enough about what happened in that murder to know that I don't want to know more. I am too mentally weak to handle the details. I don't know how many of you folks pay attention to these things and dig into it. I don't really understand the true crime hobby, the podcasting, the digging into it. I mean, I can't really watch like Dateline without being prolonged disturbed about what I consume.
I don't get the true crime thing either, but I will say from a storytelling angle, they do a really good job because they take you down, whether it's Dateline or podcast or whatever, they take you down this road where you're like, oh, I think I start to see what's going on here. And then they're like, but he had a mistress. And you're like, whoa. Like it's all
wrapped up in 60 minutes.
It is an incredible way to tell a story. And so I get the appeal. I just don't like it myself.
And I don't like the fact that you could do something like this and then you are a source of provided entertainment for people.
Yeah, it totally is.
It glamorizes it. They were saying, I think it was Emily Campagno. She's a true crime podcast through Fox, and she was talking about how who is the cannibal?
The cannibal, Jeffrey Dahmer?
I don't know if that is, but she was talking about who is the cult leader in California, maybe, or Waco or something like that. There are these super high profile, horrible, the most deplorable people you can imagine, and they get life sentences or whatever. Maybe it was the Oklahoma bombing. Timothy McVeigh, I don't know if he was one of them that she mentioned, but these people get life that includes conjugal visits. She was talking about how one of the Menendez brothers, or maybe both of them, had kids while they were in prison. What the heck is that? Like, you sit and suffer. You don't get to have anything. You don't get to procreate while you're rotting in jail. You should rot in jail. Is that too cruel and coarse in today's civilized society? I don't think so. I think if you want civilized society, those people need to rot.
You know why people always talk about the death penalty and they bring up cases, they're like, well, nobody's really sure if this guy was guilty. Well, fine. Then just do the cases where the person's for sure guilty, that there's not beyond any doubt this person murdered somebody.
Yeah, yes. And when you're convicting somebody, what is the level that you have to reach? Beyond a reasonable doubt. You need to know. Yeah. And if you go through this process and it's obvious, you've made the case. And I don't have a problem with death by firing squad. A bullet is pretty cheap.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. I know that's supposed to be a controversial position. I can't figure out why it's so controversial. You murdered somebody. Why should you continue to live?
It's probably just because it requires another human to specifically do that. Usually during a firing squad,
especially
there
if
are
it's a choice.
Multiple people in the firing squad at one time.
Yeah, we're not talking about manslaughter. We're talking about somebody made a choice to commit murder.
First degree murder, like what this Kohlberger guy pled guilty to. He isn't going to get life. That was part of the plea. Let us know if you're like super into this case, if you follow stuff. We really just don't. I don't talk about it much. 2:00 hour, right around the corner. Don't go away.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
STS-armory.com. That's the website. You can visit them right now. Brand new building in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. It's red. You can't miss it when you're on 111, more on the 5570 side of 111. When you go to STS Armory, you are going to feel like you got a new place. That's kind of a cool thing about it. When you're hanging out with Katie and Jesse, you're shopping with their great staff that they have there, you're going to realize these are your people. And it's very comforting to know if you've got a question about a firearm, what the legislature or governor is trying to do or has done, they're going to keep you on the path inside the lane of where you need to be. They're going to help you find the things that you're looking for. If you're very particular, you know exactly what you want, Katie and Jesse are going to help you with that. If you're like me and you're thinking about maybe switching your conceal and carry firearm to something else, they can walk you through the options, the solutions. Why this? Why that? They're reliable, and you can find them online at sts-armory.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. The Idaho killer pleads guilty. I'm Lisa Brady. More than 2 years after 4 University of Idaho students were stabbed to death in an off-campus home.
As to count 2, murder in the first degree, as it relates to the murder of Madison Mogan, how do you plead guilty or not guilty? Guilty.
Brian Koberger pleading guilty to each of the murders and a burglary charge, answering the judge's questions as prosecutor Bill Thompson summarized the evidence they would have presented at trial, including his purchase of a knife sheath found near one victim, and phone tower and surveillance footage appearing to show Koberger's phone and car near the crime scene, the phone connecting to the nearby tower more than 20 times.
Now, I will acknowledge also we do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122, but we can put his phone in that area on those times.
At least 2 victims' families have criticized the prosecutor's handling of the case. Kaylee Gonzalez's father telling reporters before today's hearing why he wanted the case to go to trial.
Because then my peers, this community, will decide that he's guilty. We could take it out of frickin' Thompson's hands. One man shouldn't decide what 4 souls are worth.
Koberger's plea avoids the death penalty, calling instead for life in prison with sentencing set for July 23rd. A federal judge will decide later today whether to release Sean Diddy Combs on bail after the split verdict at his trial. The jury finding him guilty of 2 prostitution-related counts, but not guilty of the most serious charges, sex trafficking and racketeering.
As the not guilty verdicts were read today, our courtroom producer heard excited screams inside and watched as Diddy's supporters kept saying yes in excitement. Our producer also heard sighs of relief and saw Diddy nodding his head.
Fox's CB Cotnet Federal Court in Manhattan, Combs ultimately kneeling beside his chair to pray. He could face up to 10 years in prison on the prostitution counts. America is listening to Fox News.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Sunshine in control on this Wednesday afternoon. It's still relatively comfortable to be out and about. 89 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, beautiful evening. Sun going down around 8:30 or so. 69 for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny, a slow build-up in the humidity during the afternoon, 93. Friday, the 4th of July, sunny, hot, and humid, 95 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show Live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back. The YouTube live chat poll. Should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill? Yes or no? We just spoke with Darin LaHood in the last hour there, and that'll be up on the podcast shortly if it isn't. Is it? Yeah, you didn't get that up
It's
yet.
not up yet.
Okay. Would you do something?
No, thank you.
What have you been doing since then?
I just went and had a, what's it called? A pork rind.
Ew.
a pork rind.
Yeah, just one.
Doesn't pork rind have like sugar and
Not really.
carbs? Isn't
Well,
it?
it's got carbs, yes, but I'm talking about added sugars. That's what I've cut out. No added sugar. It's not going well for me. I can tell you that right now. I hate it.
So you're cutting back on sugar, but pork rinds are allowed?
They don't have any added sugar. Not the brand I get at Ruler Foods, actually. So
even your camera doesn't believe you. It's fading out.
What's my camera doing?
It's
Whoa,
not,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
What is your go-to 4th of July weekend? Do you have traditions that you involve yourself in, or does it just depend on the year?
There are a couple different things that we do. One that we really liked going up to Holiday Shores. I think that's the name of the lake. And we have a couple friends that have a house up there. And in past years, we've gone up there. It's kind of an open invitation every year. I don't know that we went last year, though, because depending on when the 4th falls, sometimes you have one day you could do one thing and another day you do another thing. So the other thing we like to do is go out to Mascoutah and watch their fireworks display there with their fair that they do every year.
I had a friend who always, every time you'd say Mascoutah, he'd be like, Mascoutah, Mascoutah, where's Mascoutah?
Mm-hmm. He's talking about a scooter that he likes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't
His scooter.
hear Mascoutah
Yeah.
without thinking about a scooter.
Anytime he talks about his scooter, I like to think of his scooter.
Is the Mascoutah fireworks associated with the base?
No, it's just Mascoutah's display. Huh. I am pretty mad, though, and I almost feel like I have to go this year because last year, the carnival company that they contract with or whatever, I may have told this story last year, actually, in the middle of like 7 o'clock on 4th of July night. That's like prime time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. All their rides, except for like one, went down. They had an electrical problem, and they all went down. And I had just bought a bunch of tickets. And I was like, look, there are no rides for me to do with the tickets. Just give me a refund. Whatever, you know? And they're like, well, it says on the ticket, no refunds. And I'm like, does it say all the rides would break down on the ticket?
They're
Because
like,
that's what happened.
We gotcha.
And they're like, nope, but it does say that. And I'm like, listen, you understand the situation I'm in. I just paid you a whole bunch of money
How
to go
much
on
did you pay
rides.
for 'em?
There are no rides. It was $20, $25 or something like that. So they said, well, you can keep them and use them next year. I'm like, you better believe if you're not giving me my money back, I'm coming back and using these things.
Ryan knows exactly where he's going.
That was terrible.
Is your willingness to go ask for your money back based on the amount of money we're talking about or how much you feel screwed?
It's both. Because I will feel more screwed if it's more money.
Well, certainly. But I mean, is there an amount of money that even though it's a hose job, you're like, I'm not doing this for $5 or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the number? I got to know how much I can spend.
Oh, man, it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is.
What do you mean?
Well, if it's I just put $4 in a vending machine to get a drink and the vending machine didn't work, what am I going to do? Call the vending machine company?
That's my question.
I guess, but
Are you?
No, I don't think I am. But if that like if I'm looking at a Lego vending machine in an airport and I lose $50, then I'm calling the vending machine company. So it depends.
So it really just depends on the situation.
Yeah.
What about the way you're treated?
Mm-hmm. It does matter.
Yeah. Is there a part where you can be treated so poorly that it doesn't even matter if you get you're fuzzy.
You're
in
still
your
out of
camera.
focus.
That you are like, no, this is a moral victory needed here. I'm going to go to the mat on this because what they're doing is wrong, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Oh, yeah. There's times. That was one of them, actually, because there were a bunch of other people who had just bought tickets, and they were like, oh, what are we going to do with these now? It says no refunds, and I'm like, hell, it does. I think you're not understanding the situation here. There is one thing you can do with these things, and I can't do it, and you just took my money.
Did they give you your refund?
No, they did not do it.
Do you still have the tickets?
Yes. Oh, I still got those tickets.
Are you going to like ride the tilt-a-whirl by yourself just over and over and be like, hey, there's another one?
Yeah, just with middle fingers up, man.
No.
Darn right I'm going to do that. My kids don't even want to go. I'm like, well, I'm going. On to my scooter.
You're an amusement park person, so you understand the quality that comes with these big rides and these very costly amusement parks. And then you go to your local homecoming or fair or whatever. Are you ever like, nah, I'm just going to pass on that part of it?
Oh, yeah. I'll pass on it because a lot of times the rides are the same thing that you've ridden 1,000 times. The big slide.
The rides that we rode when we were children are still at these events.
It's not like a new version of those rides. It's the same ride.
Same one.
Like the big slide is always one that I'm like, even as an adult, I'm like, man, it looks fun, but that is over like that. And you're going to pay $3 or $4 to do it. But my kids still want to do it, so I'll still pay for them to do it sometimes.
It's the atmosphere, though. Like go into one of those events when you were a kid. Go into a carnival, a homecoming. For us, it was the Bonifest in Edwardsville. It was just like the coolest party of the year. And if by the time we were in junior high, we were at those things walking around with friends together, sometimes with boys and girls.
Oh, I know. That's the best. Because that was the time.
You get to hold hands at the Bonifest.
You were kind of independent, but not completely. Like your parents were probably there
You're
somewhere.
going to ride the
maybe.
Rocco plane with a boy.
Ooh, a Rocco plane.
Yeah.
I remember the name. I can't remember the ride.
It's green and white and red. And it was basically a Ferris wheel, except for you were contained in a thing, and the individual thing could go.
It spun too.
Yeah.
Was it big? Or was it kind of smaller?
Relatively big compared to the rest of the rides.
It was one of the more intense ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a commitment. You're going on the Rocco
Yeah.
plane. You might be puking when you come off, depending on your buddy.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure that we're all guaranteed to live through carnival rides.
Did you ever go to a carnival or something like that and, you know, parents or adults are probably around somewhere, but you have gone off with friends when there were, like, girls there? That you were with some boys and you knew the girls were going to be there. What's the boy side of that?
Oh, the boys are just probably the same as the girls. I mean, I don't think nothing's going to happen there. It's just about meeting up and like, oh yeah, she kind of likes me or she kind of likes you or whatever. You're just there to.
Girls don't get together and talk about how boys like them.
They don't?
No.
That
they
sounds
talk
like
about
something that girls would definitely do.
The girls talk about the boys they like. and if they got any piece of evidence in that encounter that would fall into the, this might have taken a step further, where now maybe there's a mutual interest. But girls do not get together and talk about how, that boy likes me, I think he's totally into me, ever. That is such a guy thing. I think she likes me. Well,
I don't even know. Like, I can't remember what we would say at that age. Because I think it was just, so-and-so's over there. She's kind of hot, right? That's pretty much the extent of it.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much more.
Cute. And then your friend would be like, oh, you like her? And you're like,
I can't
try to play it cool.
Not really. Yeah. I remember 7th grade going to St. Peter and Paul picnic in Collinsville. It's so Americana summer.
Yeah.
It's so summer and it's so American. But
you got like CCR playing in a band in the beer tent. And
and they might suck, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, you're just walking around, and there was a girl that I was like, I kind of like her. We were just in junior high, so it was like the first time you had seen more than 10 girls in your 6th grade class. You're like, oh man, there's other people in
and
this
you're not
town.
being hyper supervised, especially in those decades.
Exactly.
They're like, bye kids.
This was like 1992.
Here's your 30 tickets for $5 that I bought at the Market Basket.
And you're just like, let's see how long I can stretch these tickets out and maybe spend $2 and try to throw a ball in that milk jug.
Yeah.
But there was a girl that I was like, I think I like her. Her name was Susan. And I was like, I really wanted to talk to her, so I did. I talked to her, and I thought she kind of liked me, and that was it. I was like, I don't really know what to do now. And now her brother's my electrician.
The natural conclusion to a story like that.
True story.
You're so old. And now, does she know the story?
I don't think so.
She doesn't.
I don't really know her still. I just know him.
It's because you never followed through.
I think they had a very memorable last name. I'm like, are you related to Susan? He's like, yeah, it's my sister. I'm like, well, how about that? Very memorable moment for me in 1992.
You said you talked to her at the carnival?
Yeah.
What did you talk about? Like what?
I have no idea.
How's that go?
I genuinely do not remember. It was probably something like, oh man, we should probably we should probably not just hang out here. We should probably go get a snow cone together or something too, right?
Together?
Yeah. And she would have been like, oh sure, And then she would have talked to her friends about, should I get a snow cone with them or an elephant ear? And that was like, oh, I don't know. Let me go talk to my friends about that too. And then I don't know.
The butterflies that are connected to that age, junior high, high school, but more even like early high school, because it's like the dog that catches the car, It's like you...
Exactly.
There's this whole new world that opens up to you. And girls generally like boys way before boys are acknowledging the fact that girls even exist. And then all of a sudden girls exist, and then you just don't know what you're doing. But the girls also don't know what they're doing, but they have been discussing it for longer. They've been in the game for longer, and most girls are just trying to be seen. You just want to be in the place where the boys, this is simplifying things, but it's just like your neurons, and you're just bouncing off of things, and you just want to be in the path of one of those bouncing off of point A to point B, and then you walk by at just the right time, and you're like, hi, and then he goes, hey, and you're like,
That's not completely the opposite of what a boy's doing at that age.
I don't think you're planning things out. I'm sorry. I don't give you that much credit.
We're not planning things out because we're not smart. But if we could, we would.
I don't think that they're not smart. I just don't think you're focused.
We don't really know what we're doing.
That's my point. But it's not a matter of being dumb. It's just more of a matter of girls think about these things. This doesn't really ever stop in life. Girls think about these things. The time that they spend talking is essentially plotting, putting themselves in the position where they might accidentally, in the man's eyes, like you just oh, I saw her. This, gosh, what's her name? Elder Millennial. Her name starts with an I. Follow her on social media. She does this whole thing about how girls will do laps in a bar just waiting for him to be like, and then I saw her. And the guy thinks that he manifested, this whole situation happened and that they were in control. And the girl is working her tail off to be seen because they're waiting for the guy to make the move.
I think as the guy, you just want
Eliza Schlesinger, thank you.
You want to be the guy who the girls are trying to get you to notice them.
Well, certainly you want to be, but I don't think they put that much thought in it. Guys just want to be noticed, just like girls want to be noticed. Girls work a lot harder to be noticed, I think.
They're crafting their hat and stuff, though. Oh, I'm going to wear my affliction shirt, that kind of stuff.
How'd that work out for you?
I didn't have one of those.
I was just
talking about
it was the no fear for me.
It was no fear. I didn't even have that. I had shirts that probably said Walmart on them.
Did you have an Adidas or a starter jacket?
Heck yeah, starter jacket.
We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Okay, so we're talking about the butterflies, right? We're talking about that feeling you get, and that's part of being young. It's part of being, in the game, full of life. Maybe you've lost that. And I understand you get to a certain age and you think that this is just the natural occurrence. And that happens sooner than later for some, maybe a little bit later for others, but generally speaking, it's going to happen. It's because our bodies are changing. Men, I want to talk to you about Infinite Vitality. You can go to infinite-vitality.com. Go see them if you feel like things are just kind of starting to fade away. They don't have to. You do not have to deal with this. You can continue that vitality, that youthful energy, and the youthful benefit you get for putting in the work. You want to see the work pay off for you. You can still have that. You want to make sure that everything is functioning the way it's supposed to be. That's where all of this starts. You get real factual information about you, and then Infinite Vitality has the tools that you need to get your energy back, to get that ability to get the gains back from the weight room, to get your libido back. If you've been feeling down and depressed, or maybe not as much depressed, but just get rid of that with Infinite Vitality. They can help you do it. I'm working with them with some hormone replacement therapy and weight loss measures, and I encourage you to go check them out. I'm a client of theirs. You will love them. They're in Glen Carbon, Illinois. Go to infinite-vitality.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Check it out. Sports and local.
Bringing us the news, sports, and other information that we need in our local area.
Oh, I love that. That's a listener?
That was a listener on the Odyssey app.
Thank you.
Did that for us.
Do we know who it was?
His name's Timothy.
Timothy, thanks. You can give us the intro for our local news feature that we're doing at 2:20 every day. Usually Ethan does it. Ethan's taking a couple days off with his lovely wife for the 4th of July. So we're filling in for him today on What's Local. Ryan, why don't you start it?
Sure. This is a story out of South County Miniature Museum. Have you ever heard of the Miniature Museum?
No.
It's been around for a while in Bevo.
People talk about it a little.
Increasingly frustrated with collisions into its storefront.
Excuse me, what? People are running into it?
At least
Can they not see
cars. At least 3 cars have crashed through the front of the Miniature Museum on South Gravois in the past few months.
Maybe if it were bigger.
Oh. Hey. The museum sits in the intersection of Gravois Avenue, Delaware Street, and Morgan Ford Road in the Bevo neighborhood, an oddly shaped convergence of 3 fast-moving streets in South City. And it's kind of goofy to think that people just keep crashing into this museum. But I'm going to read a quote here. It says, "It's frustrating because we have to pay for that damage. Our insurance doesn't cover it."
Especially probably not the third time.
It just keeps happening, so I'm sure the insurance is like, yeah, we're not going to cover that.
Put up some, are they called like balusters or whatever?
Those concrete pylon things?
Get some of those Target big red balls.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Put them up in front.
There you go. That's what it says. Actually, the owner here says, I think we have to put some kind of things in the sidewalk so they don't hit the building. Was that isn't that goofy? That just keeps happening.
Have you been to the Miniature Museum?
I have not, but it's been on my list of places to go in St. Louis.
All right. Brad?
Well, with all the talk that we did about, carnivals and all that other stuff, I just wanted to update everybody on when fireworks and stuff and different celebrations will be going on around in this area. With the 4th of July being on Friday, if you are really big into fireworks and you time it right, but based on the information I'm about to give you, you can actually go and see 3 different fireworks shows. One starting tomorrow night, Friday night, and then even some are on Saturdays.
Aren't exiting fireworks shows traffic the worst?
Oh, it's the absolute worst.
It almost makes me not want to go.
Yeah. When you go to see the fireworks, you have to be thinking about your exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what stinks is that because of that, the whole time I'm watching fireworks, I'm thinking, all right, was that the last one? Was that the last one? Because then we're going to go as fast as we possibly can just to avoid it.
Yeah.
But if you don't think that way, you're stuck in traffic for 45 minutes.
You could also just enjoy a drink or the company of your loved ones for another 30 minutes and then not have to sit in traffic, but it's stressful.
I know.
Well, my favorite ones to go to are the ones in O'Fallon, which actually takes place in the park near my house, so I can actually sit in my backyard and watch the fireworks, and then I don't have to deal with traffic, which is great. But starting in Alton, the Fireworks Spectacular is on July 3rd, which is tomorrow. Edwardsville American Legion has one on July 5th. You can go up to Godfrey's Family Fun Fest on July 4th. Grafton has a fireworks display on July 5th. Granite Cities is Patriots in the Park, and it is on July 4th. Mascouta's Old Fashioned Fireworks celebration, or 4th of July celebration, is actually on July 4th. Millstadt, my old hometown, is on July 4th. And then my current hometown, O'Fallon, Illinois, is July 3rd, which is tomorrow night. And
weird.
It all starts at dusk. You can see it, once the light gets dark enough outside to go see these fireworks.
Fox2now.com is telling you guys do fireworks on your own?
We're doing some tonight with my church group.
I want to.
Like you set them off yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Feel safe?
I'm not the one setting them off, so.
That doesn't mean you don't do or don't feel safe. You do?
I do. Yeah, I feel all right.
I'm always nervous. They report as the city of St. Louis prepares for Independence Day festivities like Celebrate St. Louis for the first time, St. Louis Metropolitan Police are going to be holding parents accountable for the actions of their children. They had a news conference today, and the St. Louis Metropolitan Police announced that they're going to be citing parents of juveniles who shoot fireworks off during the holiday.
That's
Coming
fair.
after parents.
Mm-hmm.
They're reminding residents that discharging fireworks in the city is, quote, downright dangerous and illegal. Finally going after the downright dangerous and illegal things in the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I just hate coming downtown is because of the fireworks. We just had some friends from Japan that were staying with us for a couple days, and my friend is originally from here, and he's like, "Should we actually go to this or that downtown? Is it safe?" I'm like, "Well, I work there, so
Yeah.
I mean, you can still travel downtown."
You're like, I've seen murdered people.
But that day, of all days, I'm pulling out of our parking garage, and there is a guy just standing there screaming at somebody who is not there.
Oh yeah, he's on drugs. Were you with them?
No,
after
they weren't
work?
it was just after work.
Yeah, you get that. Is it meth? What is it that has these people? They kind of get in this stance, and a lot of times they'll be frozen the way they're standing, and it's a kind of an unsettling position. It's not a normal position.
It looks like Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's not good. There is now a man who stands on the intersection in Tucker who stands there as a younger man, and he's fit, and he stands there with his shirt off, and he's just like statuesque flexing. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's been this week. It's been a new one. Usually there's a guy who stands there and his sign says, spare money. And I'm like, no, not really.
Oh, I had all this extra money.
Even if
what am I going to do with this?
Even if I were to provide you with money that I own, it's not spare.
Can you spare some money? Maybe you just left off the beginning of it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably not.
I was having a terrible day a couple weeks ago, and I walked out of here to go down to one of my favorite haunts, KFC, for lunch. And I was walking down there, and some guy
still let you in there.
Some guy was making eye contact
stolen.
with me. He was clearly going to ask me for something, and I'm like, here we go. And I was not in a good mood. And he walks up, and
was
he's like,
my fault?
Probably.
Oh.
And he walks. You weren't even here yet.
Is that why?
Yeah, you weren't here. I'm like, and he's not here. So I'm gonna go get some chicken. So I'm walking down there, and this guy walks up, and he's trying to make eye contact with me, and I'm trying very hard to not.
He's looking straight up at the sky.
And
then down on his feet.
Look up there. Look at the old clouds. He finally gets my attention. He's like, hey, you don't have to give me any money. And I was like, then I choose not to. And he was like, all right. I think I scared him more than he scared me.
You said that?
You don't have to give me any
Yeah, I was mad about something that happened that morning.
I
won't.
I thought this story was gonna turn into you were having a really bad day, and then you saw somebody who was having a worse day than you, and it softened your heart,
It
and
did
you
not.
bought them dinner, and you felt like you met an angel.
Nope. It was the exact opposite. I think that guy was having an okay day, and I ruined it. But he didn't get any money from me, I can tell you that.
Spare money?
No spare money from me that day.
More from this report says police said they will also have additional officers on patrol during the 4th of July holiday. The warning comes ahead of a weekend that historically has brought violence into the downtown area. Last year, 7 were shot near Keener Plaza just after the Celebrate St. Louis fireworks show. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was mayhem. And it was live streamed by somebody, so it's what we talked. Was it yesterday? Ethan talked about the AT&T building. This is like one of the tallest vacant buildings in the world, and this city has so much potential. There's so much good about this city of St. Louis. So much good. It needs leadership. It truly just needs better leadership. If we had, I want to talk to the right people, and there are people working right now, specifically in East St. Louis, that are building some beautiful homes, trying to revitalize opportunity for people in that area. Those people need opportunities that include jobs so that they can grow and live independently. It's not just East St. Louis; it's the whole riverbank there. If we were able to revitalize the east side of the Mississippi River, St. Louis would have to respond. They'd have to. Right now, if you look at the river, you look at the east side and the west side, they're both not places that you'd want your kid to be riding around in a bicycle at even 9 p.m. at night after the sun has gone down. You wouldn't want that. But they could be great places. Every time I go to a city, a new city, to see, tourism or whatever, and I go through, I'm always comparing it to what St. Louis could be or is. And you go to some of these cities that have their act together, and you're like, gosh, dang it, this is so cool. Being able to experience that type of metro and life and art and food and everything that goes along with it. We've got that stuff. We don't shine the right spotlight on it. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Fry Show right around the corner. The YouTube live chat poll, should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill? We are monitoring that vote right now and watching to see what they do. Should they pass it, yes or no? Jack said, yes, pass the BBB, absolutely. Ugly or not, step in the right direction for the U.S. of A. You agree with Jack? Let us know. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Point Pest Control, that's point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com is the website. Your home, you deserve to have a bug-free, spider-free, critter-free home, and Point Pest Control can deliver that. Join me in being a quarterly service plan member. So I pay them quarterly. They keep my house bug-free. And the commitment is if you see bugs in between the time that they spray outside or treat, I should say, they can treat inside every time as well. If you see anything in between that time, they will come fix the problem. They are reliable. They are successful, and they will deliver that bug-free home. A lot of times you get those ants crawling in the kitchen area. Maybe you're dealing with spiders like we had in our house. Point Pest Control will deliver on solving that problem for you. And if you're dealing with mosquitoes at your home, if they are nagging you, keeping you inside from enjoying the outside of your home, they can come and spray specifically for events you might have at your house to treat that so you can enjoy that outdoor space peacefully. 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023. Mention Annie and save 10% on top of any specials they have. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade.
Dana Carvey.
Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall.
Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Haven't seen the results of the poll yet. Question is, should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill, their version, yes or no? That is the topic of the day in the news. That is the topic of the day in the poll. So let us know what you think about that question. 234. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. If I'm being real, do I speak my truth or do I filter how I feel? I wonder, wouldn't it be nice to live inside a world that isn't black and white? I wonder what it's like to be my friends. Hope that they don't think I'll forget about them. I wonder.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Close my eyes, the only thing that's on my mind.
Y'all know how I enjoy my time with my family at Disney World. Big news this week, Hall of Presidents opened back up. One of the interesting things about the genesis of all things Disney is that Walt Disney was very much so a patriot. Really, really had an affinity for Abraham Lincoln, and that's evident in his early animatronics. At Disney World, in an area of Magic Kingdom that's called Liberty Square, you can go see the Hall of Presidents, and it's a great attraction that talks about the presidency and goes from the beginning of it, starting with, George Washington and how that was established and the things George Washington did to establish the presidency and how we reflect on it today, through other notable characters throughout. But then after the narration is done, you have Abraham Lincoln has his own thing in the middle of it where he stands up and he talks, and I think he reads the Gettysburg Address, maybe, or the Emancipation Proclamation. I can't remember which one it is, but he stands up and does that. And then at the end, after the narration goes through, they're like the presidents of the United States, and the curtains lift, and they have animatronics up of every president. And if you ever saw the animatronic that existed for Donald Trump after he won in 2016, rumor is, and it's one of my life goals from a Disney World affinity, to find out if they really did make a Hillary Clinton animatronic and then have to turn Hillary into Trump. Because it was a little questionable, the way it looked.
Is it wearing a pantsuit?
Yes.
Donald Trump doesn't wear those. I think that's a dead giveaway.
a pantsuit. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. What would you call it?
Just a suit.
People thought, everybody thought Hillary was gonna win. Now, would Disney go to the? Because they usually close the thing down. A lot of times it's closed down for almost a year to establish. They freshen the attraction, probably do some repairs if necessary for flooring and stuff that are in the theater, but they also have to come up with a new animatronic. And the way it goes is they go through every president. They'll say George Washington. And then they have the animatronics are all up on stage. Some of them are standing. Some of them are sitting. And when George Washington is called, he'll raise his hand and wave to the crowd. And as they, will say, John F. Kennedy. And he's on the other side. All the presidents move and look towards JFK. It's an incredible thing. Mm-hmm. It's not political either. It's just the presidents of the United States, for most people, for most people. So the news came out this week that Hall of Presidents was opening back up. Well, that means there are people in this community or that end up seeing. I love reading the comments on these types of stories that come out of non-Disney related outlets like a Fox News, or maybe it's like a CNN reports Hall of Presidents is open or whatever. And there'll be people who are like, I can't believe that Disney is dignifying this man with this position. It's like, he's your president. I mean, this is going to be a hard 3.5 years for you to get through for the rest of this. While you're thinking, can you imagine the world where Disney's like, we're just going to close Hall of Presidents because Donald Trump is the president once again? Not to mention this time he was standing just to the left of the center of the stage in the back row, but standing. And Joe Biden had been out to the front. And the funniest thing is, I have a video of this. I never shared it. I don't know. I felt a little bad about it. Even though every time I watch it, it's funny. It makes me laugh out loud. So as they're calling the names of the presidents are, kind of looking back and forth, acknowledging who is being called at any given time. But it just looks like Joe Biden just looks like he's up there and lost.
Really?
If you just have a video of him and he's just keeps looking left and right, I'm like, this is so flipping accurate.
Oh, no.
This is funny.
Wait, but if you videoed any individual president like that,
same,
it would look the same, right?
Yeah, but Joe Biden was lost.
Okay.
So it is extra special. And prior to the reopening, when Joe Biden was the president, and no, I wasn't happy he was the president, but somehow I got by, he was up front and center. Because what they do is they go through all the presidents. So you go through all 45 presidents, and then they'll say, it's like the narration is like, now it comes to today. And then George Washington acknowledges that the oath of office is what swears in. So George Washington introduces the oath of office, and then you hear the current president give the oath of office. Mm-hmm. So Joe Biden would be up there and say it, but he's not anymore. Now he's in the back. Donald Trump's back to the front, of course, and delivering the oath of office. And they changed the way he looks.
Oh, did they?
He looks better.
Okay.
Which I appreciate. Which actually makes me think it might have been a Hillary animatronic more than I thought before.
How are you going to get to the bottom of this?
Infiltration.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it would be super special if Ron DeSantis became the president and was, because he got in that big fight with Disney.
Yeah.
And then he'd be in the Hall of Presidents.
Oh, that would be great.
I was like, it's sealed for me. It has to happen.
It really would have been great.
Still could be.
When you say infiltration, are you talking about you're going to sneak in the air ducts, like wear an all-black jumpsuit?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't jeopardize my status. No, I just want to know. If I were ever in the position to ask somebody who knows, if there was a question I could ask about like the inner workings of Disney, I'd be like, I want to know, was it a Hillary animatronic?
Now I want to know.
That would be that. You got to think that a lot of those people, you don't know. A lot of them could be super pro-Trump. They could have been the best day of their life to have to turn Hillary into Donald Trump. I don't know. But that'd be extra crushing to walk in and see Hillary, have her all ready to go and be like, got to break this to you, robot. You didn't win. Robot kills you.
Just that, not because it was Hillary or Trump. That's just what robots do.
Mm-hmm. So they reopened it. And if you ever go to Magic Kingdom and you sit in the Hall of Presidents, I have not gone to the Hall of Presidents in my lifetime 2018 was the first time I went as an adult. I have not gone to Hall of Presidents in my lifetime and heard Donald Trump's name be called, and people don't cheer. They cheer every time.
Do people ever boo?
No.
Interesting.
And they don't cheer anyone else. Nobody's like, Joe Biden, my man.
Oh,
It's
I will
Trump.
when I go.
It's Trump, and there's like 2 claps, and then someone else is like, yeah, man. And then it's like acknowledged, move on.
I'm going to do that with Martin Van Buren.
You should. Add it to the fandom.
I will.
Millard Fillmore.
Millard! It's Millard time!
And there it goes. Time's up. So if you ever go to Magic Kingdom, you should absolutely go see. It's a brainchild of Walt Disney's affinity for America, American culture. Main Street USA, which is what you walk into when you go into the Magic Kingdom. Of course, the castle, Cinderella Castle, is at the end. But it's modeled off of Marceline, Missouri. It's modeled off of Main Street USA. In Walt Disney's mind, his childhood home is here in Missouri. And that's what he wanted to bring to the place as the #1 tourist destination, I think, in the world. And there's so much of that. I'm just waiting for it to bust through and for them to be like, we'd really like to make money again. Let's tell stories that don't make people feel like we're beating them over the head with some sort of virtue signaling life lesson. I asked that of Michael Loftus on Friday. He's like, that's never changed.
He said, goodbye.
He
that's
said
that's a relic.
The best they could do was turn it down and do it more sneakily. I just think I didn't push back on him in that point. I think that there is the possibility that Disney does get that right. And the possibility will exist after Bob Iger. I think Bob Iger is supposed to be gone in 2027. He's announced that he was going to retire and hand it over. He handpicked Bob Chapek. That was a disaster to the point where Bob Iger came back. But wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if Disney got their act together?
That'd be fantastic.
You think Budweiser's done that?
I have no idea.
I do.
I don't know that Budweiser was way off. They just
Or
had
Bud Light,
a bad.
I should say. Budweiser's like, don't
Yeah.
get it right.
They just had a bad marketing manager.
Yeah.
Because everything you hear about the company outside of that, you're like, well, they weren't really.
They support the things that America supports. And honestly, sending a 6-pack of Bud Light to what's his name was something that you get these packages together, you send them out to influencers, and then it is something. You get a little out of it, but you've only invested postage and a 6-pack. So the tapping into influencers is something that people do. Mulvaney just had that big of a reach that it became a big thing, and then the big thing became its own big thing. And I think that the cleanup could have been done much better. The crisis management was not executed well. But I don't think that they really believed or understood where America was at that point. And it really was a thing where Americans were like, enough.
It was a rallying cry.
Just enough.
The thing I'm concerned about Disney, though, is you almost, and I don't know about the behind the scenes, but you might have to change the whole culture. And that's hard to do. Because Disney seems to have an internal culture that really is woke.
Yeah. That can't be denied, but I don't think that's the only thing that matters. It definitely does matter, but I don't think it's the only thing that matters. A good point to shift real quick here before we take a break to the story that came out of University of Pennsylvania, where they have said William Thomas, who was a man swimming against women and kicking their butts, they're vacating all of his races, all of his places, all of his records gone, and reinstating the people and the records that should be. And on top of it, there is an apology going out that is going to be attached to it, to the people like Riley Gaines, of course. I think, whatever. If you thought that was going to course correct, it wasn't going to look that big.
No, this was
huge
all
cultural
the way.
win. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't have to go all, they could have said, well, Trump's kind of pushing back on universities. Let's
pulling away a lot of funding.
They very publicly made a major announcement about these things and took away the records. That's like post-dating it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Job well done.
Yeah.
So it can happen. I think the public pressure and the confidence in knowing that the culture around you can affect it. You don't have to be subverted to the things that the scary people who are yelling at you all of the time say that's how you have to live. You get a say. So speak up and do it with kindness. That's the way we win. Let's get the YouTube live chat poll results when we come back. Have you weighed in yet? Should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill? They're voting a test vote right now. Yes or no? We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Concrete leveling. How exciting is that? Woo! Yeah. You get your driveway all leveled out. That's probably just necessary. It might not be that exciting. You know what doesn't? It might not, draw the people in like, oh my gosh, look at your driveway. Here's the thing. It's an eyesore, yes, when it's not level. When your garage has sunken in the middle because of the way that the foundation was poured in the beginning, it's a hazard. It's a problem. It's dangerous. You need to correct it. It's really that simple. You want a cost-effective way to do that? That's where you go contact Home Shield Foundation Repair. They are the go-to. Leveling out with this polyurethane foam that has the strength of added concrete under that surface, but not the weight of it. This is the cost-effective way to solve that problem. For your pool decks, your patios, if you are looking to rectify uneven concrete in an industrial situation, a commercial business, they do that as well. These are the go-to people, and you can trust them. Matt and the whole team there, they have a great culture that's going to seep into the job that they do at your home, at your business, and you are going to be recommending people to Home Shield Foundation Repair next. Call them for your job. They'll come out and give you a free estimate, assess your situation. You're not getting yourself involved in anything until you have a discussion with them, and they get to see what you're looking for. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io. Good afternoon. Mark Reardon gets set to go here. A lot of stuff going on, including the Kohlberger plea in Idaho and the very latest on the big, beautiful bill coming up after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
I'm kind of with you on that, Bakari, but Scott,
I think we need restrictions on, if you're over the age of 21 and you go to Disneyland or Disney World and you don't have children, straight to Alligator Alcatraz, El Salvador.
But have you ever been to Epcot?
I'm just saying, this is weird, and talk about people that get in the way of things. You're trying to take your kids there and you got these weirdos walking around? I'm just saying.
Go to Epcot. It's great for grown-ups, okay?
Who's she?
I think she's the host of that
Abby
show.
Phillip.
Yeah.
I'm with her.
Me too.
I've never said that before.
It's the first time ever. Epcot's great, especially for adults.
I don't know where you want me to go with this.
You go wherever you want. Test track. New version. Yes or no?
I will tell you at the end of July when I go, but I'm taking my kid. People, it's just one of those if you know things. And if you are not, I'll say this. There's somebody near and dear to me, I think they're listening right now, who, when I was like, you should come to Disney World with us, the kids would love it, we would have so much fun. He says to me, he's like, I don't even like Six Flags. And I'm like, how do I explain this? You can't.
Yeah, they're apples and oranges.
Yeah.
They're different things.
And listen, my kids are always like, "Can we go to Six Flags?" Not knocking Six Flags at all, but it's an entirely different experience. And there is an attention to detail and customer service. It's a shock after you come back from a Disney World trip when you come back and you have to talk to normal people who aren't required to be happy to see you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. I mean, the customer service there is pretty high level.
It's top notch, and if you're paying top dollar, you have,
Which you are.
yes, you have the ability to expect that, but it's not really. It's the transaction. That's the way they treat people there. I do, as a frequenter, specifically of Disney World. I've never been to Disneyland, but I do go there and see people who are adults who are acting as the way I would put it is childish about being there. And I think to myself, I'm glad I'm not in that position. That's the nicest way I can put it. I don't waste my time when I'm there with my kids. And, Scott Jennings is talking about going without kids, whatever. I've done that before, and it was great.
Well, we did it.
Yeah, that's fact. We all went a couple Mays ago, and would you guys go back again?
Heck yes.
Yeah.
My gosh, that was
See,
a blast.
Scott?
I mean, part of it is that we weren't with kids. Because we've all done these things with kids, and this was like we don't have to think about anything.
Wait, we can do what we want?
We can just ride
I'm
rides?
spending my money here, and if I want to do that, I can. If I don't want to do that, I don't have to.
I'm going to eat 5 churros.
And you did. And you didn't drink any water, and then you got a kidney stone, which was very adult of you.
It's all true. That is the order of events, too.
The term Disney adult, how would you describe that?
Nasty. It is not a positive
What does it
term.
mean?
It means that you are a Disney, you're really kind of like a cultural nerd who doesn't have any friends.
Like a failure to launch kind of thing.
And you're like, well, they'll accept me there. And so you go and you're like, hey, everybody's so nice to me here.
Well, they're also the kind of person that it's like they're like 5, but in an adult body. They go there to be entertained in the same way that a kid would. I think, too, they do the Disney bounding thing, which is where you dress up in themes.
Hannah did that. I'd be careful about your next words here, Brad.
She didn't end up doing it, though.
She just had the mouse ears and stuff, didn't she?
No, she planned it out.
Did she? I don't remember her wearing anything in particular that was Disney-esque or costumey. Oh, wait, she dressed up like Mike from Monsters, Inc. that one day.
Mike Wazowski.
She wore that green ball.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Big single eye on her
Yeah.
forehead.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just think if you're an adult going to Disney, that's different than being a cultural Disney adult. But I can say that to people who are not going to believe me. Here's the thing.
I get it.
I don't care. I just don't care. It makes me happy. It makes the happiness that I share with my kids. The memories that we make together there, that's our place. You might have your place. That's ours. I'm not mad about it. I'm not paying your money to go there. I pay my own. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Ryan, should the House pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill?
I'm past my Thomas Massey era in that
All right, Taylor.
I would have very much said no all along the way, but I'm still a no here because I think there's more that could be shaved from this. I don't think that we're going to get it to budget neutral. Again, we're past that. We've already had 2 versions, but we still could make it better, so I'm a no.
Brad?
I'm a yes. I think that, everything has come together, and this is what you could get out of this. This is the best that you could get, and it's not anything better than that.
I'm a yes. I think that they've worked hard on this. Are we going to 5750?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I think that they've worked hard to get here. I think that it should be better, but we haven't elected the Congress to make it be better. So maybe that's on the American people. Maybe,
it absolutely
Maybe
is.
you need to send better people. And I know that the obvious knee-jerk reaction is to question all the Republicans that are there. But folks, if you had a 20-seat majority, I'm not guaranteeing it would be a better bill. They might be able to ignore the fiscal hawks even more. So this might be the best case scenario. But if you want more cutting, reward it when you see it and encourage and communicate with those who can make that vote for you. That's the way to actually affect the outcome here. Got 267 votes on today's poll about whether the House should pass the Senate's big, beautiful bill. 85% said yes. So just a tick down from our over 90% who said just get it done and sign it and I'd be happy. Thank you for being with us here today. The podcast available on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download the app, Stream 97.1 everywhere you go. You can go to AnnieFryShow.com/podcast as well. The Mark Reardon Show next.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan Charity Clay Shoot happening Thursday, August 7th at Strathelman Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinals standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebs for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Don't wait. Sponsorships and shooter sponsor going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who've served. 97.1 FM Talk, backing our veterans every step of the way. Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet.